That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours.
Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
If you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my friends.
For my community.
For everyone here. We all have something worth protecting, a why that unifies us. Report suspicious activity to local authorities.
If you see something, say something.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Well, we're definitely trying to learn the rule and what happens if they overturn the rule. Doing the homework that if it happens, then this, and if it doesn't, then these are the guys we have, just trying to be prepared. But, those kids that are in that scenario, if they weren't in the portal, there's nothing we can do with them. So it's just kind of a wait and see thing for us. What I don't want to do is add a guy and then have to cut him in 2 weeks, So we'll just see where it goes. And everything I'm reading, it's going to be a pretty quick decision on if it stands or not stands. So whenever they make that call, then we'll move.
It's the Adam Gold Show. What's up, everybody? I'm Adam Gold. Victoria's here.
It's a Friday together. When's the last time we had a Friday together?
2 Fridays ago, no?
Might have been.
Yeah.
I know for a while
2
it was
Fridays
like,
ago.
because you were in Denver for
Right.
some soccer things. Yeah. But that feels like, I don't know, what is time?
Right.
I
It's
don't
a
know.
flat circle.
Yeah.
Wow. It is Friday. We successfully made it.
Post Panthers win.
Ooh, we'll talk about that. That was crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's actually fun to watch a Panthers game for once.
I mean, for once.
It's been a minute.
They made the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
They had to win 8 times to make the playoffs.
Didn't feel right though. I mentioned this last season. There's a difference. There's a different vibe. Yeah, that was not 2015 vibes. That was
You
wow.
win, you
we
win.
just skated.
You win, you win. You make the playoffs, you make the playoffs. Somebody's got to win the division. That's what happens when you have 8 divisions of 4.
Yeah.
Invariably, you're going to have some bad divisions.
Yeah.
And
Quick
then
exit in the playoffs.
Panthers won a bad division.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about that. Before we get into anything, I didn't know that today was the Ocho, the ESPN Ocho deal.
Yeah.
I need somebody to tell me what donk toss is. I mean, I'm watching it because it's mind-blowing to me.
Oh, wow.
So 2 different teams competing against each other. You stand, it looks like behind a designated line about 6 feet from what I believe was a pentagon-shaped pad, probably diameter no more than 8 feet wide across in any direction, with a logo in the middle of it, and you needed to toss an inflatable donkey and have it land either on its legs or on its snout.
Wow. Okay.
Couldn't be laying down on its side.
Yeah.
Touching the logo to get, I don't know, a point.
This is such a drinking game that now turned into whatever this is.
Right? It's on television.
Yeah.
You're literally like 6 feet from it, maybe closer.
Drinking PBR.
And they're wearing uniforms.
Wow. Yeah.
And there's a referee.
Whoa.
Like with a striped shirt.
They got a zebra?
Yeah. Signaling, you don't have to toss the zebra. Just have to toss the inflatable donkey.
Yeah.
And the referee is pointing to the spot if you successfully land the donkey.
Wow.
Within the parameters.
Are there fouls? Do they have flags?
No flags.
Can you have penalties?
I don't know. I didn't see a flag. Maybe I just watched a very clean game of donk toss. See, earlier I was watching wiffle ball.
Yes.
That I get.
Yeah.
I totally get. And kickball is coming up.
Okay.
Again,
no, I understand that one.
another thing that I get.
Yes.
Dunk toss, what I couldn't understand is why everybody there, referee included, isn't sponsored by one of those THC drinks.
They should be.
10 milligrams.
Right.
All of them.
Exactly. Or
I had no idea what
some
it was.
kind of Little Debbie's cake, like the donk ding dongs or something.
No, it would be what is it? Cool Ranch Doritos. They're all sponsored by Cool Ranch Doritos.
Right.
Believe me. Those came out when I was in college. Yeah, they're real. All right, I had no idea what the heck I was watching, and the fact that I saw a referee there was like, what are you doing?
I mean, obviously I'm watching the wrong thing. This TV in here has women's golf, so I need to find the Ocho.
And I need to find the Little League Softball World Series.
I know.
North Carolina came back and beat Florida yesterday.
That's great.
To advance, and they wouldn't play until tomorrow anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, still I'm totally into.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
The little. I was hoping that would be on.
Yeah.
But no, I've got donk tossing.
Right.
Which I'm sure is behind a paywall somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, let's start.
Let's get it started.
I don't know. Chris Lee is going to join us in 5 minutes.
Wonder if he's heard of
from
donk toss.
Canton. Well, he had his own issues last night. We're going to ask him about potato chips. But I do want to start with last night. There's a number of things, number of like topics to get to, and we'll work them in throughout the program. Your Cubs won again?
They did. 11th inning.
The Red Sox won again?
They did.
13-12 or something silly like that, beating the White Sox?
Again, 2 bets I made, put 0 real units on.
Silly. Silly. Right, we would have won the Panthers. Actually, I went over.
Yeah,
you went under.
Yeah.
I was begging for points, and it was a slow start. It was great.
It happened.
And the Tigers won and went over also, by the way. But Boston on June 24th, after games on June 24th, Boston was 32-46. 14 games under 500 buried in the American League's Eastern Division. June 24th. That ain't that long ago.
It's not.
That's post-parade.
Yeah.
They won 5 in a row, lost a couple, won 15 in a row, wrapped around the All-Star break. He played like 500 ball for a week. Are now on an 8-game winning streak.
Mm-hmm.
They are, in their last 36 games, 31-5.
Yep.
This is incredible.
Baseball
This
is nuts.
turnaround. Incredible. They are 63-51. They are tied with the Yankees in the loss column for the first wild card. Right now, it does look like Boston. I mean, I shouldn't say that because it looks like Boston, if you keep up this pace, you're going to catch and pass Tampa.
Yeah.
But right now, New York and Boston would meet in a wild card series.
I think because of this turnaround, they went from 16-1 in the odds of the series. Now they're 11-1.
Yeah, they are probably. If I was looking at I would make them the favorite in the American League.
Yeah.
Right? No, I'm totally serious. This is not that Tampa's not good or Chicago's not good. Boston looks like a machine right now. By the way, you know who wouldn't be in the one of the spots in the National League that would get a bye to the division series round? The Dodgers. They're right now the third best of the division leaders behind Milwaukee, who's way out in front, and the Braves. Right? And by the all those 3 teams are playing 600 ball or better.
Yeah.
We'd have nobody in the American League playing close to that. So I think the Rays are close, but Boston's going to catch him probably. Anyway, it's been a fascinating run for the Red Sox. Maybe we'll get into that later. The Protect College Sports Act continues to have amendments written to the bill that's way too big to begin with, and I'm telling you it is not going to pass because it's way too big. And with, I don't even know if I could say this with a straight face, in good conscience, I can't imagine both houses of Congress getting enough votes to pass it. because it is way too complicated to just rush this through simply because Nick Saban said so. It is the silliest bill. What the latest development there is that one of the senators from Florida says you should be able to leave your league and have the 5-year independent period waived as long as you leave your league within 180 days of the bill's passing. It ain't going to pass, but talk about chaos. And also, didn't the ACC just come to a unanimous agreement about when you could announce you were leaving? And that is like 2 years away? So are we completely just tearing up all the contract? Maybe, I don't know. The silliest, it's not going to pass, but my gosh, it's getting more and more and more complicated, and it ain't going to fly. All right, to last night. And Chris Lee is going to join us from WRAL TV5. I'm not sure we didn't watch the greatest preseason game ever. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm talking about best played, most fun, eye-opening, best, like literally, like the best preseason game I have ever watched was last night. I thought Kenny Pickett struggled a little bit but I don't know that it was his fault. I think it was kind of the game plan was a little conservative. Haynes King didn't have any troubles.
No. What a star.
Remember, I was telling you about this yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Haynes King is a fun football player.
Yeah, he is.
And I don't know what his future is, and I think the Panthers are going to keep all 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Haynes King was an undrafted free agent.
I wouldn't want to get rid of him because Kenny Pickett, that's a...
Yeah, I don't really blame Kenny Pickett that much for yesterday.
But I'm excited to see what Haynes can do.
Oh, my gosh, was he fun. I would say he is all that and a bag of chips, but that might be a little bit too much for Chris Lee, WRAL TV5 sports ace, who is in Canton. I believe that was that dinner last night? A bag of Lay's potato chips?
Yeah, and just raw lettuce, man. Like, it's hard out here for a vegan, especially in Canton, Ohio. Not a lot for me to eat out here. I'm going to come back losing weight.
I mean, I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. Were they just like normal chips, or were they like sour cream and onion or something?
No, just regular Lay's potato chips. You have the bag, you open it up. There's 5 chips in there. You know, this is normal stuff. So
excellent, good for you.
I had to drink Powerade to get extra calories in, so that was cool.
I'm sorry. I really am. I'm sorry for your plight. Chris Lee is joining us. All right, did we watch the best preseason game ever?
Possibly. I definitely didn't expect to have that much fun covering a preseason game. The main event for this weekend for me is Luke Kuechly's assignment, but I ended up enjoying the game a lot more. I was more so going into the game looking at who's aligned where, who's coming out first, who's you try to glean what the coaching staff thinks of a particular player based off of when they play. And then you come away like really like into the actual game itself. And Haynes King is a new star. And I feel like, honestly, he probably should be QB2. But that's just my opinion. And
I don't disagree with you. I was talking about Haynes King yesterday on the show. I mentioned how excited I was to watch him play because, I mean, the ACC Player of the Year, right? I mean, he's just a fun quarterback. And the one weakness in his game we thought going in was his throwing. Not necessarily super accurate, didn't have a great arm. He did miss one wide open receiver for a touchdown, missed Jimmy Horn, and that was the only real, I think, blemish on his night. But he threw a ton of really good passes, but I don't even think that it's not even the best part of his game. He's just a football player. And I thought he was really good.
Yeah, there's some will and some want to there. out of him, which is kind of what you want from a quarterback. Like you want a guy that can also like operate within the system, but also if things break down, if it's not there, they know how to improvise. And you saw all of that. And to go back to your earlier point about the throwing part, that's the part that I was the most impressed with because like I haven't had a chance to watch it from the television perspective, but from like in person, seeing like how coverage was like coming about, and he's like literally like fitting these passes in these tight windows to only a place where the receiver can catch it, or he's throwing it away at opportune times. And he's throwing guys open. Like I was just like, man, this guy looks really good. Him and Carson Beck, I think, had really great nights. And those were their first NFL, action, and for both of them. And they both really looked like I wouldn't say NFL veterans, but like they had NFL experience before.
Yeah, look, I was super impressed. I was. Like my anticipation for the game, because we knew Bryce Young wasn't going to play. We knew almost all of the players who will likely be on the roster really weren't going to play last night. Although I think that we saw some of those, the bottom two wide receiver spots. We saw most of those guys in action. We'll talk about that in a second. But King was my fascination about the game, and he did not disappoint. Let's move on to the receivers. Because we saw, by the way, King threw for 180 yards. He had accounted for 3 touchdowns, 39 yards on the ground. He's a very capable runner too, as we saw. I did find funny that they never really showed you a replay of the game-winning touchdown, and I'm pretty sure he was in anyway. But you know how when they show you those the replays, oh, look at that. His hip was down and the ball wasn't quite across the goal line yet. I just think they wanted to get out of there because the outcome of the game doesn't matter. Talk to me about the receiver spot. I thought Jimmy Horn Jr. looked good. I thought John Mechie looked good. I thought Jasim Reed looked good. Those are basically – David Moore caught a couple of balls. Those are basically the 4 guys competing for 2 spots?
Yeah, and I would even add in Casey Washington there, and they just picked him up last week, like last Monday or Tuesday, and I thought he looked really good as well. Like David Moore, honestly, his in is because like he's been with Dave Canales in Seattle, and so once Dave is comfortable with letting that go, I think that you'll start to see like newer kind of exciting players that's there. And it's interesting, like what this Chris Brazzell injury kind of did to open up the possibilities for the Panthers. And, you hate it for Chris Brazzell, but then you see these other guys who are starting to flash. And, Jimmy Horn already, had kind of a tough outlook for, the 53. Yep. But then Brazzell goes down, and now you need that speed guy who can outrun guys. And you saw that on display yesterday. Still a little raw with his route running, but it looks like it's been getting a little bit better, and looks like he's learning how to get open as well. And then also Jasim Reed, man, that's a big guy, big receiver who can get open, and he has great catch radius. He's a little raw as well, but he's one of those guys. If you spend some time with him, he can be a guy that can really help out. It's ultimately going to come down, as you know, Adam, it's going to come down to, who can contribute the most on special teams. Right. You can be the better receiver, but if you can't contribute on special teams, you're not going to be on the squad. But, Canales has some tough choices ahead of him when they have to cut down to the 53. No doubt. And, I love John Mechie. I remember him at Alabama. I hope that there's some role for him on the team, on the practice squad. And I know how Bryce and him have connected and are close and all that. I'd love to see a talent like that who has really not been able to get going in his career. I'd love to see him get a shot. Let me ask you, because I thought there were some down moments. And by the way, I just want to point out that Carson Beck was probably the best quarterback on the field. Not probably, Absolutely. He was. And Absolutely. If I'm Jacoby Brissett, I got footsteps. That guy looked like an NFL quarterback from the very first snap of the ball. All right. Quarterbacks didn't look great
last night. They bit on a lot of fakes.
Yeah, one of the things I said to Dennis Cox on Panthers Playbook last night was that, like, I came into before this game, I came into this preseason time thinking that, okay, the Panthers got deeper at cornerback, and while yes they didn't necessarily get deeper at starters,
right?
Because what we saw last night, especially in the first half, I think things kind of buttoned down in the second half. In the first half, we didn't see anybody that could potentially take Mike Jackson's job. And if you think about the situation the Panthers are in, they're already paying J.C. Horn. He at one point was the highest paid cornerback, but that's since changed. So that's there. They're going to potentially be paying Bryce Young. So now you're looking for younger players who can take spots. Will Lee is drafted so that just in case Mike Jackson has another great year, he's going to command a bigger contract at the end of this year because he's on the last year of his deal. Then, hey, we can get younger, we can get cheaper at that position. And it's just one preseason game, but, Dave Canales did tell us before that, Will Lee can get beaten on some deep shots because he'll bite on a double move, but they were trying to work with him to get better on that, but otherwise they love what he can bring. And I do think that once he buttoned down on that, he was the best cornerback there. I was really disappointed in Caleb Evans. I was really disappointed in Corey Thornton. These are two undrafted free agents that came in last year that had some impact when the Panthers needed them, and those guys just didn't have the best outings. They still have 3 preseason games to go to try to button that up to make it a little bit better. But man, they're not helping their cases at all when it comes down to who's going to potentially make this roster.
Chris Lee, WRAL TV5 at Chris Lee on Twitter. And, of course, the Panthers Playbook was there last night for you. Thank you very much, man. Enjoy. We didn't even talk about the Hall of Fame. We'll do that another time. Luke Kuechly brought Greg Olson out and a whole bunch of the players that they coach on their team in Charlotte. It was really cool to see all of that. And Kuechly, we're going to get a chance to hear him on Netflix he's got, a 5-game package. He's coming for all of our jobs, Chris. That's all I got to say.
If I could say this really quick, if you're in the Raleigh area listening to this, since you're statewide and worldwide and everything, we have a special tonight on WRL at 7:30, all about Luke Kuechly, Carolina to Canton. And, Pat Welter and I have done a lot of work over the last few weeks interviewing a lot of folks. We talked to a parent whose son was coached by Luke Kuechly in middle school. That's going to be a cool one. And we have so many other things that's there. So also talked to the widow of Reggie White, Sarah White. He was inducted 20 years ago. And so that's going to be a cool story. So a lot of things, 30-minute special, 7:30 tonight on WRL. Hope you guys get a chance to watch.
7:30. Now I got stuff to do tonight. 7:30. Chris Lee, I appreciate your time, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. When we come back, we're going to talk college football with Danny Kannell, ACC legend, next.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gold, and I'm there.
Tim.
I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm there.
Dennis.
I'm Dennis Cox, and I'm there.
Victoria.
I'm Victoria Vodnecker, and I'm there.
Paul.
I'm Paul Eihander, and I'm there too.
You'll find them all here on the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. To work, to school, the beach, the mountains, the arena, take The Fan with you wherever you go. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
Time to utilize a pretty day and get some fresh air the fun way. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here for Law Tigers, and if you're a rider, then you know there is nothing like gearing up, winding down, and grabbing some recharge time on 2 wheels. And whether you're a seasoned vet or just starting out, you know one of the most important things is to stay focused and pay attention. Ride like no one sees you. And this is because people in vehicles aren't always paying attention and don't always see you. So the risk of an accident is unfortunately there. But Law Tigers will always see you. They're riders too, so they know what it feels like to be in an accident on a motorcycle. They've helped thousands of riders over 25 years. So not only do they know the value of your bike gear and the investment that you've put into it, but they understand this community. So at Law Tigers, your case evaluations are always free and they won't get paid until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
With over $110 million in total prizes, new scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery are dazzling the crowd. Get quick wins from Hit 50, Cash, Loteria Grande, and The Star. Massive cash blowout, bursting with $150, $300, and $3,000 prizes. Play and watch your luck shine. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.86 to 9.37. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
A torn ACL, stress fracture, aching back, a hip that's had it, life on hold, and all you want is to get it back. Enter Wake Orthopedics. We do it all. In fact, we see patients within 48 hours for everything from sports injuries, spine care, and joint replacement to minimally invasive procedures, surgeries, pediatrics, and more. Visit us today at wakemed.org and get back your life.
This is what breaking news on WRAL sounds like.
Sky 5 captured the moments a high-speed chase ended in a crash.
From the moments that matter.
Let's take a look at those live pictures right now from Sky 5, and you can see
when seconds count.
Authorities say they are very concerned for the safety of the public. And
when your safety is the priority.
It's still an active scene. Take a look behind
and
me.
We begin at 6 with that breaking news. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Gerald Owens.
Watch WRAL News. Breaking news coverage you can count on.
Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
Out here, you know the drill. Animals are hungry, dogs are getting muddy, and you just noticed you're low on feed. Stocking up at Tractor Supply is easy on your wallet with our unbeatable prices on select shavings, retriever dog food, and Producer's Pride animal and poultry feed. From backyards to barnyards, we've got everything to keep your pets, animals, and livestock well fed and comfortable with low prices all summer. At Tractor Supply.
This is Adam Gold.
I told Tim, who does the afternoon show, I said, I'm about to turn this game around. We need Cheez-Its. So I went to go get magical Lucky Cheez-Its, and guess what? Boom. Period 2, tied it up. And then at the end of the game, I still had like 8 Cheez-Its in the cup left, and I said, Lucky Cheez-Its.
There you go.
The Adam Gold Show.
College football is this close. You can smell it. But we had football last night. I can't wait to talk to my friend Danny Kannell, Sirius XM. 6 to 9 in the morning, you got to be exhausted. Also, Cover 3 Podcast, the #1 college football podcast on the planet. It says it on his Twitter bio, at Danny Kannell, who joins us on the Adam Gold Show. How's your summer been so far?
It's been great. You know, Adam, I'm going to be spending a lot more time in your neck of the woods. My daughter, we just dropped her off. My oldest, my first one sending to college is going to Elon, about an hour down the road from you guys. So I'm going to be spending a little bit more time up there. But, yeah, it's going good. Summer's great. It's quick. I used to remember getting 3 months of summer when I was a kid. It feels like we only get 2 now. So,
yeah,
things have changed in a lot of ways.
My son started his senior year of high school Monday. So, yeah, I'm 100% with you. Just so you know, we have lovely chairs in studio. So whenever you come up, you want to hang out, I will even write your name on one of them. Danny Kannell is joining us here. On the Adam Gold Show. I have heard you referred to as an ACC homer. I think, was it Barstool, right? Big Cat called you that
Probably.
over at Big Ten Media Day. Are you an ACC homer, Danny?
I am a supporter of Florida State, where I went to school, right? I mean, that I cannot stand. You know what's funny, Adam, is like when I was playing, nobody gave a crap about where conference you were in, right? I mean, we hated Miami, we hated Florida, we hated our rivals, Notre Dame. There was zero chance I was rooting for North Carolina or Duke, even in basketball, because Florida State, now we were pretty good at basketball, but I didn't care about them because they played in the ACC. But it's like here we are at this position where it's like you kind of have to, which I don't like, but conference supremacy does kind of matter. Conference perception does matter. I played in the ACC. I do think they get unfairly dinged as like, oh, they're so far behind the SEC and Big Ten, but I'm also not delusional. I'm not going to stand up here and pound the table and say they're the best conference. So I like to bring some fairness and some light to the ACC.
Isn't it fair to say that the whole you root for your conference really started with bad teams in the Southeastern Conference, who their teams like the old back in the day when Ole Miss was terrible or Mississippi State was bad or Vanderbilt was bad. They were rooting for, well, at least we're bad because our conference is so great. That's where it really all began, because that stuff didn't exist. It doesn't exist in the ACC, except for basketball. And it doesn't exist in the Big Ten or the old Pac-12, whatever that was called, or the Big 12. It just doesn't exist. I guess it does somewhat now because that has become like the...
You kind of need to.
Right. You have to sell your league.
Yeah. How many teams are we to get in the playoff? Because the playoff expanded, how many... I mean, and it's funny because when we went from 2 to 4, I remember I was at ESPN, and I kind of predicted it. I just knew it was going to happen. It was... Can we get 2 teams in from the SEC?
Right.
Like, are there 2 teams? And, like, you speak it into existence so that you plant that seed in the selection committee. Then when it goes to 12, how many can we get a 9-3 team in? We should get a 9-3 team in. They've already planted that seed. They tried to do it a year ago, but they're still planting the seed. It hasn't sprouted yet. But, it's only a matter of time until they do. So then if you're the Big Ten, you're getting irritated. So you have to start hyping up your conference. I do think overall it's probably great for college football because if you are Rutgers or Maryland and you don't really have a team that's competitive, or you're Mississippi State or, whatever team at the bottom of the SEC, it does at least give you a little something to root for when a lot of seasons you might be done by October and you're not in a chance, but then you can kind of root for the conference. So I think it's great for college football. I think that rivalry has been really good. I don't love it that much, but I do think it's been good.
Yeah, we'd love it more if the ACC were maybe had a better position, but Miami certainly looks under Mario Cristobal as though they are returning. They're never going to be what the U was. And you say you hated Miami, and as a Florida State star when you played, and even after the fact. I mean, I get it. I get why you'd hate Miami. That was one of the places, maybe the best TV show in college football for maybe a span of about 15 years. From Howard Schnellenberger through Jimmy Johnson and Dennis Erickson. And I'd go all the way up to the tenure of Butch Davis when he had them rolling again before leaving for the Cleveland Browns. But that was just an incredible TV show. They don't have much of a local fan base, really. It is a national phenomenon. But who's beyond Miami? Yeah, SMU's good. Louisville's good. But who are the schools that need to be good, need to be better? And if you want to start with your own, I'd be all for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's the obvious. And the problem with the ACC is they can't get all the brands good together. Because, I mean, this has been the same conversation for 10 years, I would say. When Florida State and Clemson were really good in the ACC and Florida State's winning a national championship in 2013, then Clemson gets a couple. Miami was in the dumps, right? So you're like, oh, and then all of a sudden we get Clemson rises to the forefront and Florida State kind of falters. And you're like, all right, well, what's going on? Now we've got Miami as this juggernaut, both Clemson and Florida State. Florida State's in a way rougher situation, but Clemson's looking at kind of a crisis an identity crisis somewhat. So you're like, man, we just need more of those brands, those traditional brands, to be at the top. Virginia Tech has been kind of in purgatory for a while. There's somebody played for national championships. So I could go down the list. I do think there's some really positive things. Like, I think SMU, you mentioned them. I think they're really good.
Yeah.
I think they are a playoff contender. Louisville, I think they're really good. I think they have a great coach. Virginia, who played for the ACC title last year, I don't think they're going anywhere. The SEC really does harp on more the deepest. That's where I think the ACC is deeper. What they need is somebody to come in that's not Miami and get multiple playoff wins, to try to because I do think when you have a serious conversation, how many teams from each of the Power Four can win the national championship? I really think it's only Miami from the ACC. I think it's only Texas Tech from the Big 12. And then you can rattle off 5 or 6 from the SEC and 4 or 5 from the Big 10. That's really like the juggernaut is the thing that the ACC is missing. Because I think they have some really good football teams. But unfortunately, I think it hurts them in the top 25. There aren't many top 10, which I think sometimes they get screwed over in that category. But I do think that's where they need is some of their top-tier teams to get better quickly.
Danny Kannell, Dusty and Danny in the morning on Sirius XM from 6 to 9. He's got to be exhausted. Cover 3 podcast with our friend Chip Patterson, who joins us every Wednesday, as most of you know. All right, I'm going to want to dig in a little bit more to the ACC. I'm going to give you a couple of things that I don't like about the league, and you tell me if I'm wrong or feel free to agree wholeheartedly. I hate 9 conference games. Hate it. On top of the fact that we don't have an even number of teams, so not everybody can play 9 conference games. 5 of our schools will play 8, which is dumb because it does create the scenario where 8-1 and 7-2 are tied. It is just insane. Do you like 9 conference games?
I think they did it because they had to. It's kind of trendy right now. So here's what I would say to you, Adam. And everybody for the SEC pounding the table saying they want them to go to 9, or the Big Ten's already at 9, but they don't have to play 10, which the SEC is 10 Power 4 opponents. If you could tell me, let's just start from scratch, which unfortunately we can't, just from a pure scheduling standpoint, I would love if all Power 4 teams only played 8 conference games and they played 4 non-con, 3 of which, let's say you're an ACC team. You play 1 game against an SEC opponent, 1 game against a Big Ten opponent, and 1 game against a Big 12 opponent. And everybody has to do that. Now, the numbers are tricky because how many times can you do that?
Right.
But I think if you want to come – because when we get there to the selection committee, you're kind of comparing apples to oranges. Who has a tougher schedule, who did better against this one. And we put way too much value on a few games. We'll put a ton of value on Texas versus Ohio State. If Texas wins that game, the SEC is stronger. Texas beat Ohio State. But then if Michigan beats Oklahoma, it kind of neutralizes that one. But, oh, boy, if Oklahoma beats Michigan, we need 6 teams in the college football playoff if we're the SEC. So, there's some of those games that there's not enough of them to really make a clear judgment call on which conference is better and who does have the better, deeper teams. If you played a lot more non-conference games, that to me is the best way to get apples and oranges. I think it's imperfect. I don't think it'll ever happen.
Right.
But if you just said, what do you like? When everybody was pounding the table for more conference games, I'm like, I would actually rather see more non-conference games. Instead, we're going to get fewer games because, especially with the Big Ten, they've kind of taken this model of, hey, our conference is tough. We only need to play 9, and it hasn't hurt them yet. I do wonder if they change that philosophy. In an ideal world, I wish everybody would be mandated to be playoff eligible. You would have to play 10 Power 4 conference teams. And if you wanted to push it to 11, I'd be okay with that too. But there's no commissioner of college football that says you have to do this. The committee could make a criteria, but I don't think they'll do that.
I'm just trying to dream up Indiana's non-conference schedule with one from each league. I'm going to assume it's Kentucky, Boston College, and Cincinnati would be
Wouldn't they be able to do that, right? They would be able to manipulate it so that they would get the easiest out there.
I mean, it's like I've been talking about this for 2 years, and there are two things that are, both two things can be true at the same time. Indiana can be an incredible football team, but have the worst non-conference schedule, which makes it easier to be an incredible football team. I contend, had they played a good non-conference schedule, not even a great one, they might not have made the playoffs in year one of Kurt Cignetti, which leads to year two.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
The only good team they played during the regular season, they got beat. The only one. Everybody else was trash, but there's no mechanism to have a total schedule. There's no mechanism to have it count. The only thing we care about are wins and losses, which I don't know if that's fair or not. It's the reality. It's always been that way in college football. Here's why I hate 9, because what I think would be better, because I know why the ACC did it. Yeah, there was pressure, but there was also the pressure coming from the television network that produces their games. We need more games that matter, that will bring in bigger audiences. And I get it, but the inequity of all of it, you can still play a non-conference schedule. The ACC plays, and this will be part 2 of my conversation with you. The ACC plays the most Power 5 non-conference games by 1 billion than all of the other leagues. To the point where it works against them too often. But if you manipulated your schedule to where we're going to set up more, at least in name, good games within our conference schedule that would be attractive to ESPN, I think you could get away with playing fewer conference games, because ain't nobody tuning in for BC playing Cal. Nobody. They don't care. Right. But we would care about Clemson and, maybe Clemson and North Carolina if North Carolina were good. But have your better teams always playing each other, I think would be better. And then I get to the 25. Danny Kannell is joining us here. 25 non-conference games against Power 4. BC and Georgia Tech play 3. What are we doing? Right. I don't understand why this league extends themselves above and beyond where they need to.
I'm sure a lot of it is exactly what you're talking about when you said they're probably getting pressure from, ESPN to give the best, matchups possible. Right. And you mentioned who wants to see BC Cal. I think they'd rather see, even though it's a bad, Big Ten team, at least Maryland, Virginia, they're on the schedule, right? They play each other. That's more intriguing, for the networks, So Virginia Tech, West Virginia, there's some, some in the Big 12. I think there's some matchups that are slightly more intriguing than the bottom, but I also think you could help that by having the bottom pick up the slack, because that's probably one of the weakest areas of the ACC is the very bottom.
Yep.
There are just some bad teams.
Let them play each other.
Better. Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, let nobody watch them.
Nobody would watch them.
I hear you.
But here's the thing: if you could identify, these guys aren't going to be very good, so we're going to take the 6 teams at the bottom and make sure they keep playing each other. So one of them might have a good year and all of a sudden have a good record. We need more teams with good records. Right? Which is why I argue against the 25 non-conference games against Power 4 opponents, because even if you went 500 in those games, it's not really helping you. And the ACC hasn't gone 500 in those games, to be honest. But if you could dumb that down where every team plays one Power 4 team outside of the league, and you schedule wins everywhere else, suddenly your records look better. That's just me. I could be wrong. Final question for you, Danny Kannell. Do you like where college football is? There's 2 different parts of this, right? There's the product on the field and how it is received by the consumer, which probably cannot be any higher. And then there's the chaos that's going on around the sport. Do you like where college football is?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
Or could we go back to 1995 when young Danny Kannell was entering his senior year at Florida State And, Florida State was on top of the football world, and you had regional conferences, and, players were playing at 4 years at one school. I was a senior with about 15 other players that I entered Florida State with, and we have bonds for life that we still have text messages today. Like, do I wish we could get back some of that? Yes. I do think that was probably some of the golden era. I've looked at it, and I've kind of been like, you know what? Let's embrace all the change. I think the quarterback play, I think this year is going to be phenomenal. I think there's like 20 teams that have really, really good quarterbacks that make probably 15 of those legit national title contenders. The quality of play on the field is better than it's ever been. The parity, because even when I was playing, you probably could circle 5 or 6 teams in the preseason and say, yep, those were the teams that can win the national title. Nobody else has a chance. But NIL has really opened up access to everybody who's willing to spend and be a participant, Indiana Exhibit A, that they could turn these things around. And also those teams that used to hoard talent, and a lot of those, in the last 10, 15 years, the SEC schools or even some other ones were funneling money under the table, accumulating a roster of 90% of 5-star athletes. Those 5 stars they could stash as backups as freshmen, they're gone. They're going to other places. So it really has spread out a lot of the talent, which I think is a good thing. The ratings are up. I embrace it. I think college football is in a good spot. I'm torn on the Protect College Sports Act because I think they tackled way too many problems.
Yes.
Like, I just want to get some stability to the movement, the player movement. Like, if you would have just said, let's have 5 for 5, let's, 5 years of eligibility, 5 years, till you're, 19, you got to, leave. If from the time you're 19, that clock starts. One-time transfer unless you graduate and get another one. Like, I want to see some of the 28-year-olds slow down who played 9 years in college football. I'd like to see players playing at 4 different schools slow down. I don't want to see that anymore. If we could fix some of it, I think it would get even better than it is right now. But what worries me when we get politicians involved, they try to tackle too much and we get nothing done, and we're just going to be stuck in this carousel for another 5 years.
Yeah, I don't think it'll pass, so maybe that's a good thing. Who would have made the most NIL money on your team? You, because handsome star quarterback makes a lot of money, or Warwick Dunn?
Ooh, it's funny because we both, my senior year, his junior year, they kind of didn't do a Heisman campaign for me because they wanted Warwick to have a chance too, which I was totally okay with. Like, it didn't bother. Like, I love Warwick.
Yeah.
The quarterback, come on. Let's be honest.
Oh, man.
They don't give running backs that many national ad campaigns, but a quarterback, I could have been doing pretty well. I wouldn't have to work on 6 to 9 and do the Cover 3 podcast and have 18 jobs to support my family.
Exactly.
I could just be sitting on all my money from NIL days, you know?
You would have made well over $100 a game. Danny Kannell, Dusty and Danny in the morning on Sirius XM Cover 3 podcast. My man, I appreciate your time. I'll talk to you soon.
You got it, Adam. Always great catching up.
It was too much fun. All right. I'm ready for one-timers. So go to YouTube, search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan. Either way, you'll get to us. And there's a chat box on the right. If you got a question, stick it right in there. That's right. I just said stick it right in there.
We've had donk ball. Is that what that's called?
No, we're watching kickball now.
Ocho?
We're watching kickball in the Ocho now.
Yeah, they have some crazy games. Although I did like kickball growing up.
Kickball was fun, but I thought you put people out by hitting them with the ball.
Yeah, I think so.
They're throwing the bases here. What are we doing?
Yeah. What?
Play kickball. All right, one-timers is next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Are you taking care of someone on Medicare? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming. You're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help you figure out what steps to take and when. SHIP counselors can answer your questions. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon,
right now.
Bluebell Chocolate Lava Cake is a mountainous eruption of flavor. Classic vanilla ice cream loaded with rich chocolate cake pieces, rivers of chocolate sundae sauce, chunks of dark chocolate, and a deep fudge swirl. Prepare yourself for an earth-shaking experience.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available. If you feel lonely, isolated, anxious, or overwhelmed, help is here all day and night. Call, text, or chat 988 without cost, without judgment, and without waiting for an appointment. You'll get support that can make a difference. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never let them have too much screen time. And never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed. Never, ever become a minivan mom. And you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple: be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
This is Adam Gold.
You know, soap attracts dirt, right? That's what soap does. It attracts dirt. Right now, Bill Belichick is soap. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's soap.
Yeah.
He's attracting all this dirt.
Or he's like an overripe banana and it's attracting all these gnats.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Next hour, John Breech, CBS Sports. We'll talk NFL football with him. Right now, it's time for one-timers.
Okay, so let's see. First up here, we have, this one was from yesterday, actually, so we didn't get time from this one, but it's from Drew.
Okay.
Heard earlier that you would like for a top 6 winger, maybe through a Nikishin trade. So who is available that could fill that role? We have the money to add.
Yeah, I don't know who's available to fill that role. So, but it's not my job to make that trade. I'm just offering, I believe that's where this team can get better. It's not just a winger. I would be very interested in adding a center who can also play the wing. So a specific name I don't have for you because I don't know who is available. This is not a free agent situation. And I'm not even advocating for trading Nikishin. But if you want to make your team better, legitimately better in the forward group, then it might necessitate you moving Nikishin. They had already explored that possibility anyway, so it is on the table. So, yeah, I would be looking at it more of a veteran player than utilizing a rookie.
And he did have a follow-up with that. What about signing Tarasenko to fill top role and then drop him when they get Jarvie back?
Drop him? Why would you sign somebody to drop him?
I know, just to drop him.
I don't understand that.
It's like
no.
kickball.
No, I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, but you would not be dropping anybody. So.
Next up, this from Mike. How many games would you give Kenny Pickett before you give it to Haynes King if the Panthers aren't using Bryce?
If they aren't using Bryce?
Like a preseason type situation.
No, I mean, both of them are going to play a ton in the preseason. Pickett and Bryce Young, he might get 5 series all preseason. So, and I'll be surprised if the Panthers don't sign another quarterback simply to take the wear and tear off of Pickett and Haynes King. I'm going to amend that question and say, yeah, Haynes King's my quarterback too. I think he is the ideal backup quarterback.
That'll probably wrap it up today. We're running out of time, so that's okay. We'll end on Haynes King is a good note to end on.
If you had a long-term situation, maybe Kenny Pickett is better suited because he's more of a traditional drop-back guy, but I don't know, man. I think Haynes King will move your team down the field. He's got some throwing warts, but, man, I've always liked him. I think he's a dynamite player.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Wake Orthopedics. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks from training camp as the regular season approaches. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
I'm Sam, owner of Marino's Landscape. With my Chase Inc. Business Premier Card, I earn unlimited 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more. So everything I buy to run my landscaping business gives me cash back to help throw a big thank you party for my team. For all they do.
Chase Inc. Cashback built for every business. Find the right card at chase.com/inc. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. All right, let's paint the scenario here. I need windows, but man, I don't have 3 hours to go through the process of deciding what I need, when I need it. Can you help at the Aluminum Company?
Absolutely. So, first of all, when we come out to your house to look at your windows, typical window appointment may last 45 minutes, an hour. We're certainly not going to make a 4 or 5 hour commitment to talk about windows. We're there to help.
Serve dinner last time.
Right. Listen, my wife always says, I talk to my wife all the time. We have salespeople, whatever we're doing. And my wife, I tell her all the time, I can't stand salespeople. And she laughs. She's like, you are a salesperson. I'm like, well, the difference is I'm just having a conversation trying to help people get what they want. I'm not there to pressure you. You're just there to help you get in and out. And it's a pretty quick appointment. It's pretty efficient. So we're there to help you and make it quick.
I can vouch for that. The Aluminum Company of North Carolina, online at aluminumcompany.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Free at every AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I've given this city, I've given this game, I've given this franchise everything I possibly can and more. And now I'm able to I genuinely feel love. And I hope every player has that connection with their fans because it don't take much for people to get riled up about Cam Newton. So coming where I come from, to be able to say that time that Cam was a part of the Carolinas, you just had to be there. And if you got to explain it, you wasn't there.
Cam Newton. One of a kind. In every possible way. Not sure the Panthers will ever again see his ilk. I mean, he was one of the biggest needle movers in the National Football League in the last 25 years. Said this I don't know how many times. Cam Newton made the Panthers a relevant franchise nationally. He was just that type of player. I do not believe he is the greatest ever Panther. I believe that guy went into the Hall of Fame, or is going into the Hall of Fame this weekend. Isn't it funny how Luke Kuechly and Drew Brees and Adam Vinatieri and Roger Craig and who is the other? Larry Fitzgerald, all wore the same shirt yesterday. You noticed that during the game?
I don't know if I noticed that.
They all wore the same shirt.
Huh.
Hall of Fame logo. Never mind.
Yeah.
It was very cool to see Greg Olsen there with the Luke T-shirt, right?
His whole family with the Luke T-shirt.
Family was
and
there.
And him videoing him from the sidelines when it was so cute. I loved all of it.
I will say that, and I'm not familiar with other NFL cities and players who were franchise legends hanging around and being part of the community, but it has to be unique what goes on in Charlotte, where these guys coach each other's kids, and are still hanging out.
Right.
I mean, I have no idea if that is unique. I really don't. One day, and I can ask a Luke or a Greg or somebody else who is involved in that inner circle, how does that happen?
Yeah.
You guys you have a locker room that we don't know about?
Right.
You guys still just meet there every day?
Yeah.
So it was very cool to see that kind of support community. Look, I've said this before. To me, Luke Kuechly is, like the perfect football player.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, his brain was so far advanced, it enabled him to be faster, stronger, better than he could have ever been if he didn't have that brain. Intelligence will enhance your abilities more so than anything else you do.
Yeah, and his skill set, his athleticism, I mean, it's insane. He always was – he was able to think fast but then also move fast. Did you hear about when he finally retired? I think one of the first things he did was train for an Ironman.
Did he really?
Because why not?
Well, that is for a lot of pro athletes.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking to replace the competition. Now, we know, I mean, he retired because he felt it was too dangerous to his health to continue playing. That's the drawback to football, why so many careers are short, is that, there's a lot of trauma that takes place every single game, every single practice.
Yeah.
And, I mean, even last night during the game, we saw the hit. Who was it? It was a go route down the left side of the field. I forget who for Arizona was just crushed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those things are routine.
Yeah.
And that game didn't count.
Right. He knew when to tap out.
Luke just...
And that's hard to do.
Oh, God, guys hang around and hang around and hang around. But, he's a phenomenal player. Only played 8 years.
Yeah.
8 years, retired basically on top.
Grade 8.
He's an unbelievable player. I advocated for his drafting. I did a good job drafting for Carolina, by the way.
Oh, good.
Steve Logan was sitting in his studio. I don't know many years ago it was now, with 2012 draft. Was it the 12 draft? I think it was the 2012 draft. Might have been 2013. Either way, he was sitting in the studio. We were talking about the Panthers draft, and I said, you know who I take? I take Luke Kuechly.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about how great he was going to be, and Steve had familiarity with Boston College. I don't know that their paths overlapped at all. He goes, you take a linebacker? I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's a linebacker, but I think he's way more than that. And I also thought that Christian McCaffrey was the perfect Panther as well.
Yeah.
I can't wait till we have McCaffrey go in, because he's going to go in the Hall of Fame. There's no doubt about it. By the way, Jahmyr Gibbs signed his contract today. So the run like we have in the draft where you got to run on positions, a run on running back signings. Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, and Jahmyr Gibbs, like in a 5-day span.
Yeah.
All became the highest paid players at their position. So good for them. The Robinson and the Gibbs make perfect sense to me, because these guys are getting their money before their careers, and you're not paying somebody for stuff they've done. Well, you are, but you're also paying them for things that they should be able to still do. They deserve it. They are focal points of their team's offense. And I understand that if you are Atlanta, because I heard this argument, I think it's Evan Cohen, our friend from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, talking about this yesterday. If you're Atlanta, because your quarterback position is so weird, you've got Penix and you've got Tua. Penix is not healthy. Tua, it's debatable as to whether or not he's good. So you might be 2 years away from your quarterback position being settled, and by that time, your running back might have basically run its course, so to speak. And we talk about these types of things all the time. When the Giants selected Saquon Barkley second overall, it's not that Barkley isn't awesome. It's that, will he be able to, lead you into the playoffs? Running backs can't do that. They can't do that on their own. No running back is going to drag your team into the playoffs. Now, if you have a good team, he can make you better. But he ain't going to make a bad team a playoff team. And that was the argument against taking Saquon Barkley at number 2. I don't know what Arizona was thinking taking Love from the running back from Notre Dame. He might be an amazing player. But you're still going to stink. Mm-hmm. Although Carson Beck looked like a good quarterback to me. Kind of did. We'll talk to John Breech about that. CBSSports.com, NFL writer, opinioner. He will join us in about 15 minutes. Because, I don't look at Arizona as a playoff team, certainly not in that division.
No.
Where you've got the defending champions, arguably the best team in the league, and the 49ers all ahead of you. Now, 49ers, who knows? They're kind of old, and probably, not kind of old. They're old. Still good, but old. And when you're old, sometimes it doesn't matter if you're still good. You break.
Mm-hmm.
Too many guys who can break on that team. And I'm not even talking about McCaffrey or Brock Purdy, both of who Purdy has had more injury issues of late than McCaffrey has. But Kittle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mike Evans is out there now. He's in his mid-30s.
Yeah.
Trent Williams, who's still one of the best tackles in the sport, but he's super old, and he breaks down constantly. So they've got issues, and they got older players on defense. They're still really good, and their head coach has become a question mark. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk about a lot of those things with John Breech coming up in a little bit. But we should start all over again with the best preseason game in the history of fake football.
It really is. Even Pat McAfee is like, was this the greatest Hall of Fame game ever? And yes, it was.
I put it on Twitter last night. I'm like, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but that might have been the greatest preseason game ever.
Yes.
Again,
I've never been more excited to watch one.
Right now, well, we were excited to watch it, but as I'm watching it, I'm going, what is happening here?
Right.
Why is this fun?
No, that's what I mean. Like, it was actually fun. Like, I was into it.
Preseason games are chores.
Yeah.
They are like, oh, I have to do the dishes.
Yeah.
Type level of terrible.
Just go through the motions.
I mean, gosh, I have to watch this. Like you put toothpicks in your eyes to keep them open. But last night was incredible.
Yeah.
Like, Kenny Pickett wasn't awesome. It wasn't his fault. Haynes King was fun, and it was just Carson Beck was excellent to me. If I'm Jacoby Brissett, I'm glad I got paid because he did get an elevated contract because he was going to be the starter, and he probably still will be the starter. But I think, like, it's hard to judge because the Panthers didn't have, a real team out there. But Carson Beck looked like he knew what he was doing. Really knew what he was doing. Good for him. He's a confident kid. So that was, but it was just a tremendous game. And I realized, and I thought about this after the fact, I was proud of Dave Canales for not even thinking about a field goal to tie the game. Mm-hmm. And then I realized, yeah, I think every coach would do that because who the hell wants to play overtime?
Right.
We shouldn't even have it. We literally should not have overtime in a preseason game. I'm not even joking. We should simply end the game. Mm-hmm. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares about the outcome? I thought Dave Canales looked like he was having fun.
He did.
Like he was just
Legit
smiling ear to ear.
Not the fake fun.
No, he looked like he was legitimately having fun.
Let me go to my vision board and make sure I'm smiling the whole time.
No, it was legit like he was enjoying himself.
Yeah.
Here's Dave Canales after the game. Overall thoughts.
Well, that was a lot of fun. Just the back and forth of it. A really good game. Mike LaFleur, somebody that I've known for a long time, really doing a good job with that group. They ran the ball really well today. But the guys were resilient, and finish is what we talk about. Finish is what we preach as a team. We practice for these situations, end a half, end a game, put us in the best, use the timeouts, move the ball. Haynes did a fantastic job just keeping the play alive. Whatever you had to do, run it, throw it, doesn't matter. Move the chains and keep it alive. So really proud of the group, and then just got to talk about, Jonathan Cooley called the game on the defensive side today, and it was a fantastic operation, getting the calls in, appropriate calls at the right time. Really pleased with the rhythm that he had, and then Brad, same thing on the offensive side, getting the calls in early so the guys could be organized, and just a big shout out to all the coaches. We had a couple receivers show up 2 days ago, spending the whole time on the plane at the hotel for 2 days, just getting them ready to play. So really proud of the group and the way that they played our play style today.
All right, I want to hear from Dave Canales on the game-winning sequence.
Well, yeah, so, I can talk about the sequence kind of leading up to it. First of all, an amazing job, Jimmy, making a really tough contested catch on the sideline. Everybody hustling down. We practice this over and over all throughout camp and the walkthroughs, getting set and getting the ball killed so we had enough time to take that first shot, kind of missed that fade ball a little bit high, but he threw it quickly and flat, so we had at least some time left. They had 3 seconds left, so I haven't seen a 3-second play before, but I love that we got a little home cooking here in Kenton. But so that gave us some time for Brad to call his best play. They huddled. It was organized, and they covered us really well. They had one guy left in the box, and Haynes is a fantastic athlete, and he just find a way to win, and that's what he did. So really proud of the group, and also proud of the whole team just celebrating. That's something that we pride ourselves on, is celebrating how hard we work on these situations and then watching it come alive.
All right, let's hear from Haynes King, the star of the game on the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, we were trying to get Dick post action on one side, and we had one-on-one on the other, dropping back, and it just kind of parted, and I was going to try to extend the play because, obviously this is the last play of the game, and then it just kind of parted, and the linebacker started, closing space, and I was like, I can get around him, and, that's what happened, and score the ball, so.
Yeah, very simple. He explained the play. All right, now Dave Canales did mention wide receivers just coming in. Jimmy Horn Jr. was good. John Mechie was good. Jasim Reed was good, among others. Here's Canales on the wide receiver position.
It's critical because you play the game with 3 wideouts for the most part. And guys rotate in and out a little bit here and there. So if a guy's coming out of a game with 10 or 12 plays, he's got to be able to contribute on special teams. Jasim was all over all the phases, returns, covering kicks, different things like that. And John Mechie got a nice return, showed something really cool there too. So Jimmy had a couple nice ones. So all these guys, they understand, like, whatever, the more that I can do to help the team, the better that my chances are to be able to be here on the 53 and make the team. So I love the competitions happening in the receiver room.
Yeah, they're pretty deep at that position. It's especially if you get what you think you're going to get, what you hope you're going to get from Jalen Coker and Xavier Leggett. If those two guys are contributors, legitimate contributors, now the Panthers have a ton of depth and potential production out of that spot. All right, let's get a break in here. John Breech is going to join us on the other side from CBSSports.com. We'll talk about the National Football League, and maybe he has thoughts on last night's greatest preseason game ever. What would be second?
Ooh. I don't know.
Nobody would know.
There wouldn't be one.
Nobody would know. We'll talk to John Breech about it next.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
When news breaks, don't wait. WRAL News Plus goes with you everywhere. Weather, traffic, and breaking news, live and local, all day, every day. Listen on 96.5 FM in Durham, 99.3 FM in Raleigh, and throughout the Triangle on 101.5 FM HD3. At home, in the car, at work, or on the go. Stay connected to the Triangle's most trusted newsroom anytime, anywhere. WRAL News Plus. Coverage you can count on.
You're listening to the Financial Safari News Network.
From Coach Pete's Money Desk, America's Wealth Coach and author of the big book on retirement, Coach Pete D'Arruda. Coach, it really is always tax time. So how is a tax plan incorporated in your overall retirement plan?
It's just about having a plan put together. So we'll put a tax plan together for you to help you look ahead. It's a tax financial flight plan. So looking ahead in retirement to reduce your taxes, not just the simple ways, but there's some complex tax saving strategies we go over with those of you with high net worth. If you have a net worth over $2 million, we've got some great tax saving strategies that could reduce your tax bill. It did for me, 35%. Federal tax and state, 35% less by taking advantage of some special tax saving strategies. So call us right now if you want to find this out.
888-456-7577, 888-456-7577, or text ZONE to 600-700.
Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bo Bites. It's Bo time.
There's no time like Bo time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bo Bites. Bite-sized hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bo Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's Bo time.
With over $110 million in total prizes, new scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery are dazzling the crowd. Get quick wins from Hit 50, Cash, Loteria Grande, and The Star. Massive cash blowout, bursting with $150, $300, and $3,000 prizes. Play and watch your luck shine. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.86 to 9.37. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Out here, you know the drill. Animals are hungry, dogs are getting muddy, and you just noticed you're low on feed. Stocking up at Tractor Supply is easy on your wallet with our unbeatable prices on select shavings, retriever dog food, and Producer's Pride animal and poultry feed. From backyards to barnyards, we've got everything to keep your pets, animals, and livestock well-fed and comfortable with low prices all summer. At Tractor Supply.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Turtle cake? Like, what do we... What?
Isn't that an ice cream?
What? Where's the confetti cake? Because, hello, confetti cake, delicious. With the little, I don't even know if it's real, but the little dots in the icing, like...
None of these are real.
What kind of fake thing that is, but it's delicious. It's my childhood. Like, that wasn't in the top 10. His opinion's invalid to me.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. They're apparently having an award ceremony for the Donk Toss champion on the Ocho today, and the trophy appears to be a gold donkey, and it looks like the golden calf from for anybody who remembers the movie The Ten Commandments.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that. I'm wondering if Edward G. Robinson is anywhere near that. That's very sad. But it is apparently the 10th anniversary of ESPN The Ocho.
Well, there you go.
My gosh, what has happened to Friday? John Breech, CBSSports.com, senior NFL writer. I might have made up a title. It doesn't really matter. We have fun. We talk about the National Football League. Sir, was that the greatest preseason game in history last night?
If it wasn't the greatest, it was top 5. I was sitting there in the second half thinking, this game is 10 times more exciting than the Super Bowl. I mean, the Cardinals and Panthers came to play. They brought it. And I think the thing with the preseason game or with the Hall of Fame game specifically, they're usually low-scoring games.
Yeah.
It's 10-7. We're falling asleep by halftime. And there's no reason to watch because you've never heard of any of the players on the field by the time the fourth quarter rolls around. But I loved what the Cardinals and Panthers both did, kind of just rolling essentially with one quarterback for most of the game. And that really changed the dynamic. They were able to get into a flow, created a lot of offense. And that's what you want to see. That's how you kickstart the NFL season, right, Gold?
I mean, who knew we would be talking about? First of all, I asked Victoria this earlier. Could you name another preseason game that you liked? Is there one in the memory bank that would compete with this? Like if I asked you, what was the second best preseason game of all time? Nobody would have an answer for that.
Well, you know what's funny is that any other preseason game I remember are all for bad reasons. Like the one where Mark Sanchez got injured, in the fourth quarter because Rex Ryan played his starters in the fourth quarter preseason game. Way back in the day, Kajana Carter got injured in the first snap of the first preseason game. Just it's all bizarre stuff. It's never because the game was actually exciting.
It's unbelievable. So let me just dig into a couple of things, and we're very Panther-centric here, but I want to just ask you quickly about Carson Beck. Is there reason for Jacoby Brissett to be a little bit concerned about being the starter long-term, meaning this year, in Arizona?
If there's not, there should be. If I'm the Cardinals, there is no reason not to start Carson Beck. I just don't see any upside to making Jacoby Brissett the starter because you look at this 2027 draft. There are some huge names, Arch Manning, obviously the top, but it is loaded with quarterbacks. And if you were going to need a quarterback next year, you need to know that now. So if you throw Carson Beck in there and he plays horribly and you have the worst record in the NFL, that's fine. You go get your quarterback next year. But if he plays well, now you might have your future guy. If you throw Jacoby Brissett in there and go 6-11, that doesn't do you any good because you don't know what you have in Carson Beck. You don't get a good draft pick. And so it just feels like a reason where they need to find out now what they have in Carson Beck. We know what Jacoby Brissett is. He's a 33-year-old veteran quarterback who's gone, I think, 2-13 in his last 15 starts. That's, throw Carson Beck in there. He can do better than that.
Yeah, whether he can do better than that or not, he looked like an NFL quarterback last night, and I think that was an encouraging thing for those of us who watched him last year and the year before, in college playing at a high level. I mean, last night was in some ways eye-opening, and I'm glad Jacoby Brissett got an additional however many $1 million to theoretically be Arizona's starter, and Jacoby Brissett played here at NC State. But, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't start Carson Beck, to your point. Now, we know Bryce Young is going to be the starter. Dave Canales is speaking glowingly about him after the first, say, 10 days of training camp. So I don't think anybody that we saw last night is going to threaten Bryce Young's spot. But Haynes King, to me, and I was looking forward to watching him last night, Haynes King looked to me like the perfect backup quarterback. I loved everything we saw from Haynes King, even though he did miss one obvious touchdown.
Yeah, Haynes King, obviously, I don't know if this is hindsight or what, but I was actually surprised that he did not get drafted. He was the ACC Player of the Year, and not that I thought he was going to be like a first-round pick or anything. I just thought for sure that some team out there would have taken a flyer on him in the 7th round where you get his rights for 4 years. If he plays well, great. If he doesn't, it's not like it costs you a lot of money because he's such a low-round draft pick. Because of this. I mean, exactly what we saw last night. He had all this raw talent. You just needed a smart coach who can kind of mold it together. And what we saw out of him, I mean, granted, sure, it's not the Cardinals' starting players, right. But when you're throwing a guy into an NFL game for the first time, he's got to command the huddle. He's got to know the plays. He's got to know what every other player on that offense is doing. It's a lot to digest for a quarterback, and King did really well. And I think the other thing is that in college, whenever he got in a little bit of trouble, he would just take off because he was faster than almost everybody on the field. Well, that's not going to happen in the NFL, and it really seems like if there's one thing the Panthers have kind of worked on with him since he's been there is, hey, look, man, don't take off. If you're thinking about running, maybe start to run, but keep your eyes downfield. Look for a guy to throw to because just you running will draw defenders, and that could open something up. And so he did a really good job of not taking off unless it was absolutely necessary. I think he ended up running it 3 times. Of course, the game-winning touchdown was absolutely necessary. But, yeah, I was wildly impressed with Haynes King.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought he would be drafted too, and the Panthers get him as an undrafted rookie free agent. And, because he can do so many other things, I don't know that he could profile like a Taysom Hill type player, but he's a great athlete. He is tough as nails. Love everything about Haynes King, and I think he is a perfect backup quarterback. Just your thoughts on what your expectations are for Bryce Young as we head into his 4th year.
Well, I think this is the year where he's got to prove, hey, look, I've been here with Dave Canales. I've taken that step forward. We won the division title, but last year it felt like it was a team thing. If you want to be a Super Bowl contender, you really have to have a quarterback who can kind of put you over the hump. You don't have to be great. I mean, we saw that with Sam Darnold and the Seahawks last year, but you still have to be a cut above. And Darnold played out of his mind last year. But when you look at the Panthers, if I'm Bryce Young, I'm thinking there's no reason I can't play football at the level that Darnold's playing it at. And the Panthers have put a pretty good team around him. There's a lot of talent. Maybe they're still looking for that number 2, number 3 receiver. But I do think that defensively, obviously been hit by the injury bug a little bit, a couple unfortunate injuries there, but they're in the NFC South. So it does feel like it's a winnable division. And I think if you're Bryce Young, this has to be the season where you're thinking, let's win a playoff game. Let's prove to everyone in Charlotte that I am a franchise quarterback. Because it just feels like there's always that little question mark with him that maybe you're not ready to sign on and give him that 4 or 5 year extension.
Yeah, and that's what this whole offseason was about. This year, we will find out if Bryce Young is one of those that you have to pay, 5 years, $200 million to, or more. Actually, it'll be probably $250 million over 5 years if that's if you determine he is one of those, or if he is going to get you to whoever the next quarterback is. I think that's what this year is all about. All right, let me ask you about a couple of other divisions, John Breech, CBSSports.com. If I told you that I thought the Giants were going to win the NFC East, how crazy am I?
How much money did John Harbaugh send you, Cole? That's, I mean, you know what? It's
quite crazy.
It's not that crazy. I think if you look at that division, it just feels like that was a team that needed kind of a culture overhaul, and John Harbaugh is really the perfect guy to do that. So I would say that if everything goes right for them, they certainly have the talent. I would say I think the Cowboys are better. I think the Eagles are better. But both of those teams have huge question marks. The Cowboys defense, we don't know what that's going to look like. Certainly it's better on paper, but we don't, as bad as they were last year, that might not be enough to kind of get them to the top of the division. And then you look at the Eagles. What's that going to look like without A.J. Brown? You lose your top receiver. Saquon Barkley couldn't run the ball last year, so if you're missing your number one guy and Barkley still can't run the ball, the Eagles could be in trouble. So I do think that it's not crazy to say, hey, look, there is a slight opening there for maybe the Giants to come in and take the division title. We saw the Commanders do it in that division, or we saw the Commanders make the playoffs in 2024 and get all the way to the NFC title game. So maybe – I'm not sure I would predict them to win the division gold, but I do think that the playoffs aren't completely out of the question for them.
All right. You don't have to be nice to me. If you think it's crazy, feel free to say it's crazy. I don't want, the fact that we have a good relationship to go, you know what? I'm not going to call Gold a lunatic for picking the Giants. I'm not even a Giants fan. I don't really like the Giants. I grew up a Jets fan. I've never liked the Giants. I'm not a Jets fan anymore either, and we're not going to talk about them. In the NFC North, I don't even know what to expect. Part of me thinks that Chicago took advantage of a schedule and some breaks to win the division. Detroit fell off. Green Bay, I don't know what to make of them because they have taken turns overachieving and underachieving. Minnesota should be better, but I don't like Kyler Murray at all as a quarterback if I want to win. What do you make of that division?
I think it's probably going to be the hardest division to predict because I feel like you could legitimately talk yourself into any one of those 4 teams winning it and not sound crazy, not sound like that lunatic. Because, I mean, look at the Vikings. They go 9-8 last year with just a terrible quarterback situation. And I think no matter how you feel about Kyler Murray, you would have to admit he's an upgrade over what they had last year. And if that's the case, maybe he can get them to 10 wins or 11 wins, and that could be enough to win the division. I think the Lions are an interesting team because I think they're going to be the team that most people pick to win that division, but they still have their own question marks. The defense kind of struggled last year. It's hard to win shootouts every single week in the NFL. And then the Bears, they have the toughest strength of schedule. And I know that strength of schedule isn't the end-all, be-all of anything, but they have a first-place schedule. And so the thing about that is that there's not a lot of variance from year to year when you're playing more first-place teams than everyone else. And so when you look at who the Bears have to face that the other teams in the division don't, that's tough. So it's going to be tough for them to repeat. So I feel like the Packers probably come out of that division, but that's one I would absolutely not put any money on who wins the NFC North.
All right, let me go to the AFC North. I know for maybe people don't know this, but for obvious reasons, I know the Bengals are very near and dear to your heart. Could they win that division?
Well, I think on paper, they're probably the most talented team in that division.
Wow.
But again, it's like, well, I mean, their defense is so much better.
Right.
Adding Dexter Lawrence, adding Jonathan Allen, adding Boye Mafe. I mean, that's three guys that are just going to make that defensive front night and day better than it was last year. You go out and sign Brian Cook, a two-time Super Bowl champion, away from the Chiefs, bring him to Cincinnati. So their defense should be better, but it's like the Cowboys. You don't know what it's going to look like till they're actually out there. I think the one thing that's interesting to me about the Bengals, and I've been down to their training camp practices a couple times over the past week and a half, and they're trying to go a lot more under center with their offense, and they haven't looked great doing that. The defense has been dominating training camp, so I don't know if that means the offense is struggling or the defense is actually that good. And so when I look around that division, I mean, again, another one that's wide open, but I'm not going to count the Browns. So I'll say the Bengals, Ravens, or Steelers. Any of those three could win that, and I wouldn't be surprised if all three of them end up making the playoffs.
The Steelers. Aaron Rodgers certainly in fine form. I don't know about football, but he hit the ground running with his first appearance on Pat McAfee's show. That was something else that happened. Do you think Rodgers can provide enough? Because Pittsburgh hasn't been good enough, make the playoffs, squeak in the back end of it, but they haven't been good enough because they haven't been good enough at quarterback for like the last 10 years.
It's funny with Rodgers because it seems like he had kind of this agreement in place with Mike Tomlin. Hey, look, I'm not going to do the McAfee show. I don't want to have any distractions. As soon as Tomlin's gone, as soon as Rodgers is back, he's like, all right, that's it. I'm taking the gloves off. I'm going on McAfee, and I'm just going to vent everything. It was a wild interview, to say the least. But when you look at that team, last year I thought the Steelers ended up being the team that everyone just kind of slept on. It was, hey, maybe the Ravens probably win this division. Maybe it's the Bengals. And then Aaron Rodgers in his first year in Pittsburgh, and they steal the division title. And so I don't see any reason why the Steelers couldn't do that again this year. I think he's going to be more comfortable running Mike McCarthy's offense than he was running the offense they had last year. They add Michael Pittman, so now, last season it was DK Metcalf or throw it out of bounds. There just weren't very many options. So now that he has a good number two guy, that changes the dynamic of their offense and what they can do, and they have a bunch of tight ends. So I think the Steelers – Mike Tomlin had that streak of not finishing with a losing record. I think McCarthy keeps that going. I think the team, they feel like a lock to me for 9-10 wins, and will that be enough to get the playoffs? I don't know, but I do think the Steelers are being a little bit slept on for the second straight year.
Yeah, in the AFC, I'm not sure because there's so many bad teams, right? I'm not sure 10 wins. 10 wins, it'll be a tiebreak probably to make the playoffs. In the NFC, because I think there are a ton of good football teams, unless they absolutely waste the AFC interconference. The records I think will be probably somewhat depressed in that conference. John Breech, CBS Sports. I appreciate your time, sir. Best to you and yours. We'll check in again soon.
Definitely. Thanks for having me, Adam.
You got it. John Breech here on the Adam Gold Show. I do think John was very diplomatic. I don't think he was feeling the Giants. Then he's kind of like, I don't want to call Gold a dope. I think that's like my relationship with John certainly softened the blow there.
Well, he just had a different
It's
opinion.
very nice. No, it's fine. Look, there's a reason why the Giants to win that division are plus 600.
Yeah.
Cowboys are plus 230. I actually like the Cowboys in that division. I think the Cowboys defense will be better. I don't know that the Cowboys defense will be good enough to be legit.
Yeah.
But think about what the Panthers did last year. The Panthers went from 2 years ago, arguably the worst defense in football, to a defense that was ranked dead in the middle.
Yeah.
Now, it didn't make them great.
No.
It made them decent enough to take advantage of a bad division. Now, I think Dallas will have to be better, but here's the difference. The Panthers didn't have a great offense to go along with their decent defense. The Cowboys could have a great offense, legitimately great offense. Even if Dak Prescott isn't one of those quarterbacks, he is still a quarterback that you can win with. And he will have games where he looks like one of those quarterbacks. So I think because of Dallas's offense, if their defense just becomes decent, middle of the pack in the NFL, I think the Cowboys could win that division. And I do think it will be interesting to see what Philadelphia is like without A.J. Brown. Not that A.J. Brown helped them a whole lot last year because he was lost in his feels all season long. And it definitely, I mean, the offense as a whole suffered. I'm not saying it's because of A.J. Brown. It's probably because of a lot of factors, but their offense was not nearly as good as it had been in the past. Their running game wasn't as good.
And that's another one who's getting up there in age that you were talking about, players who are like,
Oh, Brown?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And well, he's in New England now, and we'll find out if A.J. Brown can still play at a high level because he's going to have to.
Right.
He's going to be the target of a lot of Drake May passes this upcoming season. But that is going to be a very interesting division. I know we have a lot of Washington fans. I think they're going to finish last in the division. And because of the transient nature of where we live, tons of Giant fans are always Cowboys fans everywhere and Philly fans.
A lot of Dolphins fans, too, in this area for whatever reason. It's
shame.
very random.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to be very good.
No.
They're actually longer shots than the Jets, and I frankly don't understand why. I think the Jets are at least a year away from being mediocre.
Yeah.
I think Geno Smith is going to end up being one of, if not the worst starting quarterback in the game. Cleveland, I think, has a better quarterback situation
That's saying something.
than the Jets.
I mean, they do have all the quarterbacks, but
right. It's funny how we don't even talk about Dylan Gabriel.
No.
Like the guy who was drafted in the 3rd round doesn't even get discussed. The guy who's drafted in the 5th round, Shedeur Sanders, people are trying to make the starting quarterback. Look, I don't know if Shedeur Sanders is that good. I really don't. I don't know that he's bad. I just don't know what he is. But they're still trying to make Deshaun Watson a thing.
Yeah.
And all I could say is there was a time where he was good, and I don't know if the emotional trauma, not that he suffered, but that he propagated on others,
right,
has in some ways rebounded and made him a bad quarterback. But it's been a minute since he has been even a competent quarterback.
Long minute, yep.
So, that's Cleveland's situation. But right now, they don't know who their quarterback is going to be. That's a weird division.
Very weird.
Well, Lamar Jackson should be great, but they have everything's new.
Right.
Right? I still have a hard time with Cincinnati. But they did add a lot to their defense. All right, we're going to stretch. We're going to place bets. We are very close to season starting 3 weeks from tomorrow. College football begins.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple: be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Chocolate Lava Cake is a mountainous eruption of flavor. Classic vanilla ice cream loaded with rich chocolate cake pieces, rivers of chocolate sundae sauce, chunks of dark chocolate, and a deep fudge swirl. Prepare yourself for an earth-shaking experience.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
Turning 65 soon, navigating Medicare can be overwhelming and confusing, but you're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help. SHIP counselors can help you understand Medicare benefits to make your best choices. Visit ncship.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Your child's doctor shares your goals. A healthy future for your child. Doctors recommend vaccines throughout childhood because they protect what matters most. Your child's future from preventable disease and serious illness. Discuss any questions you have and check that your child is up to date and talk about any concerns. You're right to have questions. Get real answers. Start a conversation with your doctor today. Visit vaccinesforkids.nc.gov. Paid for by NCDHHS.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're delving into a new NCHA report titled More Than Medicine, the Economic Impact of North Carolina Hospitals. My guest is Josh Dobson, President and CEO of the North Carolina Healthcare Association.
Hospitals generated about $52 billion in economic impact last year, roughly 6% of the entire state's gross domestic product. They spent around $44 billion on operations and workforce expenses. And that spending does ripple outward into local economies. Hospitals are often among the largest employers in a region, especially rural communities. In fact, they're among the top 10 employers in 95 of North Carolina's 100 counties.
You can learn more and join our latest conversations on the state of healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
This is Adam Gold.
He doesn't have many years to choose from.
No, and part of that was COVID. Nobody's picking COVID.
COVID was a great year.
Yeah.
Look, if you invested in Zoom,
oh, that was a good year.
You
Yes.
had a good year during COVID.
Yep.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. The housekeeping games are now on ESPN, the Ocho. Something called plunger catching. I don't know.
This is like a ramped up field day, or like a college edition field day that you used to do.
Yeah.
Rather than what was it, the potato sack race? You're
Yes.
throwing plungers.
We've taken it to a new level. Yeah, I'm just gonna guess there's a lot of inhaling of like household chemicals involved.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fine.
Say,
You do what you got to do.
gotta be careful.
All right, it's time to stretch.
Well, one thing that you have to be careful of, which is a good reminder, today is International Beer Day.
Oh, is it? Nice.
And
maybe I'll have one
I
tonight.
know, right? We're about to hit the weekend where a lot of beer might be consumed. And with International Beer Day, they came out with some myths about beer.
Ooh.
So, and these are all things, like, some of these I've actually heard before, so it was interesting. So the first up is drinking a lot of beer gives you a beer belly. Well, it's not so much. It's the combination of calories and then a sedentary life. So that doesn't just always cause straight up beer belly as soon as you have it. Next up, they have dark beers are stronger than light beers. No. Light beers are lighter in color and body, but that doesn't mean that they have, dark beers have more alcohol. So don't be the judge just by color. That will probably get you in a bad situation. Also, I have always thought this, and I don't know if I agree with this, they say that beer doesn't always have to be served cold.
Can make an argument that like a Guinness, like a dark beer, that you could serve room temperature. I don't like it room temperature. I will not drink one.
No.
But I do know people that do.
You're right. I guess I could see that one because, if it's like milk. As soon as it gets room temp, I'm like, no, I'm good.
Room temp. I'm telling you, I could tell you, like our refrigerator is set at, I think, 38 degrees.
Okay.
I could tell you if the milk is at 39.
Right.
I am not kidding.
Yeah.
I need the coldest.
Ice cold. Yeah.
Just before it starts to form ice.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I don't like even slightly warm milk.
And I would not, like, if you're having like cookies or something and you want milk with the cookies.
Yeah.
I will either wait until I'm done with the cookies, or I will put an ice cube in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It must be the ultimate cold.
Will you let it melt, or will you, like, splash it around and then take it out so it doesn't water the milk down?
Nah, I'll just...
Okay, you're fine.
Yeah, drink it in there.
I'm with you. I agree. With
Must
the
be
milk
cold.
thing. I can't do, like, even cool milk. I'm just like, no, this got to be, like, fresh out of the coldest spot ever. But they say, like you mentioned, room temp can actually be okay for some. Being too cold might ruin the flavor, they say. So there you go. Also, draft beer gives you a hangover. I don't know if I've heard draft beer specifically giving you worse hangovers.
Because of the air in the system? Yes, it can.
See, and that's what they're saying is no matter what type, any kind can, just by drinking excessive amounts.
Yeah, of
which
course.
Obviously.
But it's more about the air and like slight extra carbonation.
Yeah. Well, they're
draft
saying-
beer is good. Some people like it. Like I like a good draft beer. I don't think it
me
matters
too.
to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it cold
is key. Cold is key.
Yes.
And then I've always heard this: beer before liquor, never been sicker. That's apparently a myth. They're trying to say it depends on the alcohol that you're drinking, not the order. So
right. Okay.
I'm like, okay, well, it's one of those things. Like, don't step on the cracks. Like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna do things forever the same way. So yeah, they're saying something about molecules in the liquid and all this stuff is what will cause you to be sicker than
Gotcha.
another time, but whatever. Then they're saying IPAs are always bitter is a myth.
No.
That's not the case, because then they break it down. They have these milkshake IPAs, which I've seen, and Adam's not a fan
And I don't
of.
want a peanut butter IPA either.
Yeah,
Just stop.
I don't know.
And keep your pumpkin beers.
I was just about to say I could get down with pumpkin though. But that's not always an IPA. Oh, and the sour, they're really sour. Like, they're actually sour. So if you
I don't
don't
mind
like
that.
yeah, I got to be in the mood for that one. And then last but not least, they say beer is unhealthy. They say, yes, it's not healthy for you, but they did say it could have benefits. I am wondering if they think these said benefits are like antioxidants with red wine.
No, I don't think it's that, but
benefits.
it does provide carbohydrates.
It does.
So, like, if you're a runner,
right,
the night before you run, in a long race,
Yep.
it's not the worst thing in the world to have a beer or two.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There you go.
Maybe you'll have one of those this weekend,
I
and
won't.
maybe you'll make a bet.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal in Bushwood, sir, and I never slice.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
Well, I won the Panthers parlay yesterday, plus 225.
I know.
No real units, but it's fine.
All these fake units. I'm rolling in fake units over here.
Doesn't do you any good.
Cubbies win, and the Red Sox beat the stinky White Sox. So let's go with my Cubs. They're now taking on the Royals today, and I got to roll with them. I'm not going to go against them. Let's take my Cubs under 9.5 plus 195.
All right. We are also going to start in baseball, and I am going to take the New York Mets today, who are playing at Pittsburgh. Give me the Mets under 8.5. That is plus 265.
I was going to say, are they underdogs against them?
Yes, they're underdogs everywhere. But they've been playing well since they essentially took out the trash. That's what Keith Hernandez said the other day on TV.
Right.
Like, what? Really?
Right.
Did you just say that? But
wow.
Whatever. Yeah.
Well, my next one, I actually have multiple punch and fights this week and a lot of organized violence because tonight PFL is in Charlotte. And the main guy is going to be Brian Battle, who is a North Carolina local. I actually saw him when he fought with the UFC about 2 years ago in Charlotte. He's taking on Dalton Rosta. I am going to take Brian Battle, our local, to win by knockout. That's plus 180.
All right. The Braves have won 8 in a row. They will make it 9 tonight in the Bronx against the Yankees. Give me Atlanta. Over 8.5 as they go up against their old pitcher, Max Fried, plus 285.
Nice. And then last but not least, UFC, Amanda Lamos versus Alexia Venaria. I'm going to take Alexia to win this one by the points, plus 110.
All right. In English football, the EFL Cup. They have 2 cup competitions in England, and the first one starts today. Wrexham playing away to Middlesbrough, and Queen's Park Rangers home to Millwall. All 4 of those teams are in the championship, so the second tier of English football. Wrexham, QPR to win, plus 1375. It's a big one.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Excuse me, you think you could spare a square?
Sorry, what?
A square on your smartphone.
Oh, yeah, for the 99.9 The Fan app.
Exactly. Listen to your favorite hosts, teams, and live sports action.
The Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup.
And every podcast episode at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere.
Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
You've got rhythm. Your heart's got rhythm. Then one day your rhythm's off, and you've got AFib, atrial fibrillation. The good news is you've also got an AFib center, where specialists in AFib have multiple treatment options for you. Want more good news? Most of them are minimally invasive. Learn more at wakemed.org. And what do you say you and your heart get the band back together?
Yeah, can you pass me a Baja?
A what?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Try it. It's tropical at first, then the lime flavor hits.
Oh, okay. That's crisp. Tastes like vacation.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And it's mine now.
Have a Baja Blast.
Right now at Circle K, buy a 20-ounce Mountain Dew and get another for just $1. Do the Dew at Circle K today.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 25% upfront bonus? And are they promising you up to 9% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait, only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They aren't. That's up to $25,000 upfront or up to $9,000 per year on $100,000, guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Unlock your Trajan family office at TrajanWealth.com or call 1-855-TRAJAN-1. That's 1-855-TRAJAN-1.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. DBA in most states has Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Progressive provides protection for your boat and other outdoor vehicles so you can explore new things.
Oh, I can finally try pesto.
We meant like water skiing.
I've just never had pesto.
Or maybe take the boat somewhere new.
I mean, is pesto spicy or sweet? Oh, guess we'll find out, right?
Right. Bundle home or auto insurance with your boat, RV, or motorcycle and stay protected with Progressive while you explore.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not ready for pesto.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
All of us have a role to play in promoting a mental health friendly workplace.
Whether we're a CEO, manager,
coworker,
or someone with a mental health condition ourselves.
So what can I do to help?
Learn more at whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh, yeah.
And we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Free at every AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at richielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I stood up here a few years ago and said, before we can talk about doing great things, man, we've got to earn back the respect. And these guys, they've kind of erased the narratives. You know, Nebraska can't win a close game. They've erased that. But we know that's not enough. We didn't come to Nebraska to go 7-6. Being here today with teams who've won the national championship, it's inspiring. It speaks to this conference. It speaks to the people that run it, the coaches and the players that are in it. And we understand that we have to take a step this year.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing so hard inside it's not even funny.
I know. Although I slightly want to.
No. Look, Matt Rule was a terrible NFL head coach.
Yes,
terrible.
Yes.
In his career, he has been a good college head coach. He was good at Temple, and he was good at Baylor. Like, legitimately good in both of those spots. And he might be a good head coach at Nebraska. But we'll never know.
Yeah.
Because Nebraska is one of those places that college football has left behind. I'm like totally being serious here. There are places where you used to be able to win. Like win big, compete for national championships. And you can no longer do that. And Nebraska is one of them. I don't know why Nebraska is different from Oklahoma. Although, I'm not sure Oklahoma is really going to compete for a national championship. But it's over. That era of Nebraska football ended. It's not Matt Rule's fault. You can't. I don't know how you recruit there. I don't. You're 1,000 miles from anywhere. It is a very, very, very hard place to win. But they care, and they've got a 94,000-seat stadium that they will fill. But, man, it's been 25 years since Nebraska football's really been good. Really good. And I think Matt Rule's a good coach, but he ain't going to do that. He is not going to turn that around. They had a former Heisman Trophy winner they brought back to be their head coach before Matt Rule, and he was a disaster. It's a tough place to win. But I appreciate the music from Rusty putting that together with Matt Rule. But have you noticed that Matt Rule's speech pattern has slowed down?
A little bit, yeah.
When he was in,
oh yeah,
it was with the Panthers. We used to play
Elmer Fudd.
That's all, folks.
Yep, mile a minute, nonstop.
Like, slow it down, Matt.
Yeah,
just slow it down. All right, lots to do. The Roundtable coming up in about 10 or so minutes. It is time to hear from Dave Canales and more in the Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, it's an all Panthers Wall of Sound, but we're going to start with the former Panther, Luke Kuechly, going into the Hall of Fame this weekend. There's been a whole bunch of press conferences, and it was cool to see that whole scene last night with him and Greg Olson and a bunch of the kids that they coach and Greg's family and whatnot. But he talked about in his display, he has chosen a black Panthers jersey, which I didn't think was that big a deal because that's kind of their traditional home jersey. But why did he choose black?
One of my favorite jerseys was a black jersey because you guys know, you and Joe know that as the season went on, we would never wear black in the beginning of the year because you'd be delusional to wear a black jersey in the South early in the season for home games, right? But as the season would go on, the grass would change. I think it would go from Bermuda to, I think it was rye grass they put. So you could start to see the change in the grass. And then, now Joe's laughing at me because I'm nerding out, but the grass would start to change. Dennis, our ground crew guy, was the man. And then as the grass would change, the weather would cool off, and then we'd switch from white jerseys to black jerseys. I think it was a black jersey, or maybe whatever, but it felt like playoff football because it was like November, December, and cold, and it just felt like football. So there was that, and I'm sure there's some other things in there I'm missing. So
I love that. It's nostalgic.
Whatever, it was good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. I don't know what kind of grass it was. It was rye or something. Yeah, I think it probably was rye.
Probably.
I do know that at Wake Med Soccer Park, early in the season, the grass is rye. But then, in or around June, they tear out the ryegrass and put Bermuda, which is a much more durable summer grass. There you go. All right, Dave Canales, Panthers head coach, on the game last night.
Well, that was a lot of fun. Just the back and forth of it, a really good game. Mike LaFleur, somebody that I've known for a long time, really doing a good job with that group. They ran the ball really well today. But the guys were resilient, and finish is what we talk about. Finish is what we preach as a team. We practice for these situations, end a half, end a game, put us in the best, use the timeouts, move the ball. Haynes did a fantastic job just keeping the play alive. Whatever you had to do, run it, throw it, doesn't matter. Move the chains and keep it alive. So really proud of the group, and then just got to talk about, Jonathan Cooley called the game on the defensive side today, and it was a fantastic operation, getting the calls in, appropriate calls at the right time. Really pleased with the rhythm that he had, and then Brad, same thing on the offensive side, getting the calls in early so the guys could be organized, and just a big shout out to all the coaches. We had a couple receivers show up 2 days ago, spending the whole time on the plane at the hotel for 2 days, just getting them ready to play. So really proud of the group and the way that they played our play style today.
All right, let me get one more Dave Canales in here. Maybe we'll have time for two, because he mentioned Brad. Brad Idzik is the new play caller, right? Did you notice? I don't even think we had too many times like late in a play clock.
Right.
Things look pretty snappy.
Mm-hmm. They did.
And this is, look, it's hard to do all of it. It really is. I thought Brad Idzik did a good job of getting plays in. Here's Canales on Brad Idzik.
Yeah, the great challenge is just like knowing which group you have in and how you can utilize different players. And so, tip my hat to Brad, just being able to say, who's my back? What can we do with this guy? Which wideouts do I have in there? And really, that's the challenge of trying to go through a preseason, is to work with a different group of guys. But the operation was great. Timely calls in end of half, timely calls at the end of game. good balance of the run game and the play actions like we like to see, and we missed a couple of shots down the field, but the ball went up. And so I was really proud to be able to take some of those ops, and Arizona made theirs. We didn't make ours, so that's something that we're going to have to address when we get to film.
All right, we'll get a little bit more of Dave Canales in a second. First, Haynes King, the quarterback, I thought player of the game, first star of the game, to put it in hockey terms, on the game-winning touchdown in which he scrambled it in as time expired.
Yeah, we were trying to get dig post action on one side, and we had one-on-one on the other, dropping back, and it just kind of parted, and I was going to try to extend the play because obviously it was the last play of the game, and then it just kind of parted, and the linebacker started closing space, and I was like, I can get around him, and that's what happened, and score the ball. So
it's great. Just a fun play. I turned the game off, and I'm not sure I didn't watch the greatest preseason game of all time.
Yeah, I think so.
Ever.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about that in the roundtable coming up. One more thing. Dave Kannell is talking about the wide receiver position. We saw Jimmy Horn Jr., John Mechie, David Moore, Jasim Reed all play well. It's impressive.
It's critical because you play the game with 3 wideouts for the most part. And guys rotate in and out a little bit here and there. So if a guy's coming out of a game with 10 or 12 plays, he's got to be able to contribute on special teams. Jasim was all over all the phases, returns, covering kicks, different things like that. And John Mechie got a nice return, showed something really cool there too. So Jimmy had a couple nice ones. So all these guys, they understand, like, whatever, the more that I can do to help the team, the better that my chances are to be able to be here on the 53 and make the team. So I love the competitions happening in the receiver room.
I said this earlier. If Xavier Legette and Jalen Coker legitimately complement Tetero McMillan, who is wide receiver 1, that the group, the depth group, wide receiver 4, whomever that is, 5, 6. Man, we didn't even see what Bryson Tremaine didn't even play last night, right? There is tremendous depth that might be able to help in the pass, legitimately help in the pass game. I mean, it was just a really, really good night. If you're a Panthers fan, last night was fun because it was, scored a lot of points and it was just good football. But also, I think it was encouraging in a lot of ways, including Haynes King being really good. Maybe Kenny Pickett doesn't want to see that, but I don't think Kenny Pickett's got to worry for his job. I think Haynes King probably is quarterback 3, but to me, it looks like he's got a great chance to be a backup quarterback for a long time.
Yeah.
I
like that idea.
I loved what I saw from Haynes King. We'll talk about that coming up in the roundtable. We have it's a pretty good panel, I think. One of our best today. I kid. We'll do the roundtable next.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
Shoot, he scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Football is back. NFL preseason is back, and the excitement is there. The Panthers looked great in the Hall of Fame preseason game. Haynes King was electric. They got the win. Everybody celebrated. But let's pump the brakes a little bit. Kenny Pickett is still the backup quarterback. It's still Bryce Young's team. Haynes King can be a nice piece.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
We've made it to Friday, so maybe that means it's time for some motorcycle therapy for you too this weekend. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here for Law Tigers, and kicking off a weekend might mean a new adventure on the open road, or maybe there's a charity ride you're participating in, or maybe it's just a beautiful day and you want some time to unwind. The folks at Law Tigers understand because they're riders too. They're 100% part of the community, so they also know what it feels like to get into a wreck on your motorcycle. Now, that's definitely never the ideal situation situation, but accidents can happen, and it's important to remember to call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. It's not just what they do, but it's who they are, so they know the value of your bike, your gear, the investment that you've put into it. The insurance company just wants to pay you the least amount possible, so your case evaluations are always free at Law Tigers, and they won't get paid until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
With over $110 million in total prizes, new scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery are dazzling the crowd. Get quick wins from Hit 50, Cash, Loteria Grande, and The Star. Massive cash blowout, bursting with $150, $300, and $3,000 prizes. Play and watch your luck shine. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.86 to 9.37. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
I'm Galen, co-founder of Brooklyn SolarWorks. With my Chase Inc. Business Premier Card, I get unlimited 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more. So everything we buy to run our solar business gives us cash back that we put back into the neighborhood, donating solar panels to community gardens.
Chase Inc. Cashback built for every business. Find the right card at chase.com/inc. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Out here, you know the drill. Animals are hungry, dogs are getting muddy, and you just noticed you're low on feed. Stocking up at Tractor Supply is easy on your wallet with our unbeatable prices on select shavings, retriever dog food, and Producer's Pride animal and poultry feed. From backyards to barnyards, we've got everything to keep your pets, animals, and livestock well fed and comfortable with low prices all summer. At Tractor Supply.
This is Adam Gold.
The American Cornhole League. I don't know if you can wager on it. Let me go to FanDuel and find out if you can wager on it.
I think I read you can get a scholarship. Kids in high school can actually get scholarships for cornholing. Who knows? I don't know what the technical term is.
I'm just not going to say anything.
The Adam Gold Show.
It is the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Welcome. We are stick deep into hour number 3. It's a very peppy. What is this, Victoria?
It's called Shocker, Get Up.
All right.
I thought it was a great one for our next segment because I love these guys. I know, right?
Very techno. All right. I'm excited. It is Roundtable time.
Camelot. It's only a model.
Sitting next to me, Tim Donnelly does the afternoon show here in Raleigh, North Carolina on 99.9 The Fan. And up there on the big screen, I think. Is he on the big screen?
He's just phone today.
Phone?
Yeah.
Josh Graham is just phone?
I know.
What happened?
I'm off the first tee box at the Wyndham right now.
Oh, you have to.
Aaron Rye hit a bomb at him.
Why aren't you whispering?
Well, I walked away.
Okay. All right. Well, Josh Graham from Westwood One is here. I'm used to Josh being on video, but he's not, and that's okay. All right. So I'm going to start with you, Tim, because you're here. Yep. I can see you. I can't see Josh. I'm not even entirely sure that it is Josh. Was that the greatest preseason football game ever last night?
Last 10 years.
Could you name another great preseason game?
I'll answer it this way. Have you seen, and I'm sure Josh has, have you seen the 20 years ago sports Twitter account that's blowing up? It just started a couple weeks ago. All it does is report on things that happened exactly 20 years ago.
Oh, I like that.
And it gives you the SportsCenter top 10 from exactly 20 years ago every time. So it's pure nostalgia. But on the same day, exactly 20 years ago yesterday, there was a Hall of Fame game between the Eagles and Raiders. And the only reason I say it has to be the best in the last 10 years is in the Hall of Fame game 20 years ago, Donovan McNabb completed passes to Brian Westbrook, and Randy Moss was playing, and it's like they used to treat the preseason like games. Okay. So there's no way a game that had what was it? Was it Miles Davis running all over the place?
Miles Davis
put the trumpet down and was running all over the place. There's no way a game with Miles Davis playing a major role can compete with games where the starters are playing.
So what?
But of the last 10 years, I'm giving
get that.
It was wildly exciting.
It was unbelievably entertaining. Josh, was it the greatest preseason game of your lifetime?
No. For the reasons that Tim Donnelly was describing, I think the greatest Hall of Fame game of my time is the one that was canceled an hour before due to the field conditions not being great.
Melted. Field melted.
Game ever. Yeah, it was my favorite one of all time. That's the one that will always stand out in my memory, and it's going to be hard to top that.
That is a great answer. All right, back to you, Josh. Should Haynes King be QB2 for the Panthers?
No. It's preseason. Adam, you're better than this. But I will say this.
What?
I'll say this. I felt better. I felt so good for Haynes King to get something over Carson Beck after the officials robbed Georgia Tech in that game in Athens in 2024. That went to that 2-point shootout that Haynes King unfortunately wasn't able to beat Carson Beck in between the hedges in 2024. So I was happy for Haynes King that he was able to have that moment after last year didn't go his way when he was number 7 in the country and they weren't able to finish the season strong or even get in a strong bowl game. I think they made it to the Pop-Tarts Bowl, all due respect. But Haynes King, happy for him, and it just reminds us of one of the best ACC-SEC matchups we've seen this decade.
All right, I want you to answer the same question, but I just want it noted that Josh said that I'm better than that to elevate Haynes King over Kenny Pickett, while he assigned importance to a preseason game as opposed to a rivalry game which Georgia Tech has not won in 40 years, but somehow now Haynes King has now got one over on Carson Beck. I just want that for the record. Haynes King.
I agree that he is not quarterback 2. I wanted to say that he is just to see if Josh would also say I'm better than that, or else, or to see if he would just go, no, Tim, that's good for you.
Okay.
No, it's. I mean, Kenny Pickett is 5 games above 500 as a starter in the NFL, the ones that matter.
Right.
Like the real games. He's being paid $4 million this year, guaranteed. He is, and by the way, he did exactly what you want a backup quarterback to do last night. He was just recklessly boring, right? He just hunted completions and hoped that the defense would keep him in the game.
How many 3-yard completions did he have last night?
High completion percentage, low risk. If Bryce Young goes down and you're going to have to go three games without him, you want your quarterback hunting completions, being super conservative, and hopefully the defense can keep you in the game. Hopefully they're not getting carved up by Carson Beck. So it's Kenny Pickett's job. It's not Haynes King, but Haynes King might make a roster. He might if he's going to be a QB3 on the 53-man roster. Now Dave Canales can look to his special team staff and go, yeah, if you want him to be the personal protector on punt, go ahead, right? Because you don't want to plan for that if he's not going to be on the roster. I think he's made a real argument for himself.
I think Haynes King is a career NFL backup quarterback, and I think he can help teams.
Plus.
Right.
Backup quarterback plus.
I mean, could he end up being a Taysom Hill type? Who knows? All right, back to you.
Adam,
what?
don't forget that Kenny Pickett is already a Panthers legend that won a championship at Bank of America Stadium, fake sliding against Wake Forest in 2021. Let's not forget that that's an element as well. He's a perfect fit for this franchise.
Who could forget that, Josh? Tim, is Carson Beck QB1 in Arizona?
Not yet, but he will be by the end of the year. And Jacoby Brissett, NC State guy round here, irrelevant of what he does unless they are the surprise of the century. Around week 6, you're going to start hearing calling for his name, and probably around halfway through the season, they'll make the switch, barring injuries or anything like that. He looked, quite honestly, better than I thought he would last night, and that's having watched a ton of his football over the last 5 years. So he will be, but not yet. If you're going to have a catastrophe, you want Jacoby Brissett to break through that wall, because Arizona might be a catastrophe this year.
Yeah.
And then you bring in Carson Beck, and it's like, oh, he didn't mess it up. He took over something that was messed up. So they'll have the veteran eat some arrows.
What do you think, Josh? Could Carson Beck be the guy? You can make an argument that it would be foolish for them to not make him the quarterback.
Well, I think in theory, it's an easy way on the outside for us to say, yeah, I mean, you're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. You're in the toughest division. Like, why not just play this quarterback? What value do you have playing Jacoby Brissett? But what that ignores is that 50% of NFL rosters are guys who are playing on the last year of their deal. And you can't try looking Buda Baker in the face and telling him, oh, yeah, this season doesn't matter. We're just going to throw it away by playing a quarterback who isn't as polished or as good or gives you the best shot to win football games. So that's why, to Tim's point, you're not going to hear Carson Beck being a QB1 right out of the gate. You're going to have to wait till like week 6, week 7 of that sort. I always viewed this pick as a very Arizona Cardinals pick, which is to say bad, because, I mean, you're talking about an organization that picked Jeremiah Love 3rd overall, and because of slotted salaries in the first round, Jeremiah Love just got handed the most lucrative contract a running back in NFL history has ever been given because of when he was selected, and he hasn't even played an NFL snap yet. That's the most Arizona Cardinals experience. If you want to make a Carolina Panthers comp to the Carson Beck pick, it's Matt Corral the year before the Panthers selected Bryce Young, because next year is a generational draft. You have the most difficult schedule. If you look at Arizona's schedule, good luck finding when their first win is going to be.
Right.
They're going to be the worst team in the league, and then they're going to be picking a quarterback in the first round, and then Carson Beck is going to disappear into obscurity despite what he did last night. But I will make the joke in saying Carson Beck, more like Canton Beck.
Oh, boy.
You're better than that,
yeah,
Josh.
You're better, way better than that. By the way, in the last 2 years in games that Jacoby Brissett is and I'm not a big fan of wins, losses, or a quarterback stat, he has won 2 games out of, 17 in the last 2 years? So if I'm arguing to Buda Baker, just using your analogy, Josh, my argument to Buda Baker that we're trying to win games, maybe I am starting Carson Beck and not Jacoby Brissett, who, again, has had a great career as a spot starter, fill-in quarterback. That's what he has become, and there is no shame. His bank account is flush because he is a good backup quarterback.
I think that's why you're going to see Jacoby Brissett. He just bullied him into giving him $10 million.
Good.
Arizona is going to because there's not even any more years
They're
on
still only
it.
paying him $15 million.
But he was making $5 until
Right.
a week ago, and they just gave him $10 million more. Like, they're not going to get bullied and then bench him before they even play any games.
And they paid East Carolina legend Gardner Minshew. So you also paid him $5 billion as well. They're a mess. And Monty Osborne being the GM, it's kind of a puzzling piece why they didn't decide to just blow the whole thing up this offseason.
Gardner Minshew will end the season as the Cleveland Browns quarterback. He will not be with Arizona.
Yeah, I can see him having a Flacco season where he starts for like 2 different teams and is beloved by both.
Because Arizona's not going to get rid of Brissett, and I think Carson Beck is going to play. So there's no reason to have Gardner Minshew if you have those 2 guys healthy. All right, last night, Luke Kuechly, we all saw all the Hall of Famers. I brought this up. I actually put a poll up on Twitter, and I know Dennis Cox did one 40 minutes after I did.
Yep. Great shows, think alike.
So is Luke Kuechly the greatest Panther of all time, Josh?
No, he isn't. Pound for pound, it's Julius Peppers, because there are only 2 Carolina Panthers, I think, at one point in their career. You could say that's not just the best player on the team, that is the best player in the NFL. And it's Cam Newton in 2015, but it isn't enough sample size. Luke Kuechly's sample size is small, but bigger than what Cam Newton's was. Julius Peppers is one of the all-time greats across the entire NFL. And to me, especially when you consider him being a North Carolina kid too, which just scores some extra points in my mind, I'll give him the nod over Sam Mills, Steve Smith, and Luke Kuechly. And yes, Cam Newton as well.
To me, Peppers was the only other acceptable answer. I will not argue that Peppers isn't, but I think it's Luke. Who do you think?
This could be recency bias. As of yesterday morning, I thought it was Cam Newton. I tried to.
I thought you were going to say Haynes King.
That was that recency bias. It's definitely Jasim Reed. I thought it was Cam. I tried to put on my objective hat because I played quarterback bias. I switched to Luke for this reason, and it's part of the benefit of retiring early. He was never worse than like the third best at his position in the NFL.
Ever.
Like his rookie year.
Year one,
yes.
He was maybe the third best.
And the overwhelming majority of them, he was the best off-ball linebacker in the NFL. And that's just insane. I think Cam's ceiling or his peak was higher than Luke's, but his lows were a million times lower than Luke's. And Julius Peppers, for all of the incredible athleticism and everything, was he the best edge rusher of his generation? There's other guys in that conversation. I don't really think there are for Luke and middle linebackers. I think it's his spot.
That's why I chose Luke. Mm-hmm. To me, Luke, for 8 years, was the gold standard at middle linebacker. Gold, nobody better. He was a 5-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time second team. Those were the concussion years. And the first year, he won Defensive Rookie of the Year. And he wasn't one of those All-Pro. But by year 2, we realized, wait a second, this guy's better than everybody else. To me, he is the best Panther. The other thing about Pep was that even in his first run with the Panthers, there were some years where you doubted his motivation, where he had some down years. There was nothing like that with Luke.
I might say Cam tomorrow. I think it's really hard to differentiate between those two because they were drafted so close together. Their rise was so similar. Like I said it yesterday on my show, Luke Kuechly gets 2 tackles for a loss, forces it 3 and out. They punt it away, good field position. Cam Newton has a solo, runs for 30 yards and throws for 15 and they score. Like, who gets the credit for that?
Right.
It's so linked together, and we watch that so many times that it's nearly impossible to differentiate.
Let me ask you this, though. You said that there were a lot of great edge rushers at that time with Peppers. Who are we talking about? Like, the only edge rushers are better than Peppers is Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White, maybe Breech Smith. Nobody during Julius Peppers' time was as good as Julius Peppers was.
I mean, I think you throw in J.J. Watt, you throw in DeMarcus Ware, you throw in a Terrell Suggs. There were guys that some years were better than Julius Peppers while he was playing. Maybe Patrick Willis for a couple years was above Luke, but that was about it.
It's the exact equivalent to Luke. It's crazy. They both played 8 years. They both were five-time first-team All-Pro guys. They made 7 Pro Bowls. It's crazy. But they essentially had the exact career. So that would be the comp. And I love Luke, but does longevity factor in at all? The fact that Luke Kuechly played 8 years versus Julius Peppers doing so for more than 15.
Well, we're talking Panthers. I don't care what he did for the Packers.
Right, Packers and Bears.
Yeah.
We have 7 years where he played elsewhere. And again, there was some inconsistencies in Peppers' game. And we are talking about a guy who averaged 10 sacks a year in his first run with the Panthers. And I'm not saying 10 sacks a year isn't good as an average, but it's not. That's not putting you in camp.
If the Panthers ever have like a true, 15 years, same franchise, first ballot Hall of Famer, it'll pass them all just because Cam's peak wasn't high enough or wasn't long enough. Luke retired early, and Julius Peppers spent some time in colder environments.
Yeah, but I'm not going to argue against the answer being Peppers, because Peppers was one of those players, and I mentioned this yesterday in a different type of a conversation. I have never seen a defensive lineman run where he looked like a wide receiver, ever. And that's what he looked like.
Here's the interesting thing, to broaden it from a 1,000-foot view, Adam. If Kuechly is the greatest Panther ever, then what we're looking at tomorrow is one of the all-time NFL Hall of Fame classes we've ever seen.
Yes.
Because nobody would argue that Drew Brees isn't the greatest New Orleans Saint, nobody would really argue that Larry Fitzgerald isn't the greatest Arizona Cardinal, spending his entire career there and nearly winning a Super Bowl for them. And you have the greatest player at his position to ever go in Adam Vinatieri. Not to overlook Roger Craig, who is an influential player with the Bill Walsh West Coast offense, the whole thing. But when you're talking about three of the 5 inductees might be the single greatest players in their franchise's history, that's a hell of a class.
Oh, it's a phenomenal class. Roger Craig was the first 1,000-yard running back.
The only issue is the 3 franchises whose best player are going into the Hall.
Well, the Saints at least won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they've got, one between them? They've got the 3 franchises have 1 Super Bowl between them, so, not exactly the highest bar to jump over to be the best in those franchises.
All right, I'm going to cut right to the end. We go. I was surprised we got through as many of these things as we did. Normally, things get run on. All right, final question for you. I'll start with you, Josh, on the first. Where are you at the first fairway? You back in the trees at Sedgefield?
I am outside of Margaritaville now. They've handed me a loaded land shark, and I'm in good shape. I saw Brooks Koepka, but I can report that Jenna Sims is not here.
Right.
Sedgefield.
And Koepka, unless he wises up, is not going to make the playoff in his first year back on tour.
Mustache, though. He's got a thick mustache. I wasn't ready for it.
Former Duke golfer Max Gracerman needs a solo second or better to make the FedEx playoffs. He's tied for second right now. He's hunting. He wants those playoffs.
I'll tell you,
that's Alex Smalley's in second, fellow Duke golfer who also is a member here at Sedgefield. How about that?
Why didn't John Shire recruit these guys? All right. Tell me which number will be higher, Josh. UNC losses in football or Clemson wins in football?
UNC losses.
Ouch.
Easy. That is an easy one. Bill Belichick is – I wish I could bet it. I don't know what sports book's going to offer these odds, but I'll take it. First coach in college football to be fired this year, Bill Belichick, because national spotlight games heighten pressure. And when your first 3 games of the year is a standalone week 0 game against TCU in Ireland that everyone's going to be watching and then reacting to, and then you go to Clemson in week 3, and then you face Notre Dame on a national spotlight game, broadcast by Westwood One, by the way. That is to me, and Notre Dame runs it up on people. If you go 1-3 and you get embarrassed in front of your home fans at Keenan, I wouldn't even be surprised on October 3rd if North Carolina says we've seen enough. With that schedule, I think it's done there, and then at that point, it might just be all losses from that point out because you got Miami, you got Louisville, you got Pittsburgh.
Right.
UConn on the road's not a gimme. Duke taught us that lesson last year. There are no gimmies on that schedule whatsoever.
I've looked at it. I keep 2-10 keeps popping back at me, but they ain't firing him. He is going to finish the season.
2-10 is low.
Right. No, that's what that schedule looks like to me.
Are we counting bowl wins for Clemson?
If you want to. You didn't have to say Clemson, by the way.
True. Well, then that won't be a bowl loss, so it's an extra game for Clemson. I think Clemson's. I mean, it's going to be close. Probably around 8 for both. 8 or 9 for both.
If Belichick can win
4, if he redos last season, you win the 2 or 3 that you got to win, and you steal 1.
If he wins 5, he's the coach of the year. I'm really not kidding. But I don't see.
That's how coach
wins.
of the year should work. By the way, you should be able to win with five wins if we look at your roster.
It worked for Josh Pastner,
and then he should also be like GM or the front office executive, not of the year. I'll take UNC losses. I think it's going to be a long season. I don't like any team that starts with a 4-way quarterback competition because now none of them are going to be ready for week 1, and that team has to start fast.
You know what I don't like about North Carolina's roster? I don't like the fact that the biggest thing Bill Belichick complained about was how he had 70 new players last year. And then this year you have 60, including 39 high school players who are probably not going to be helping you right out of the gate. And we made a big change. We brought Bobby Petrino to be the OC. Did he bring in his own staff, or is he just coaching all of Belichick's assistants? Oh, it's the latter? Great. That's outstanding. Yeah. North Carolina, it's a tire fire.
It is, but they're not firing Bill Belichick until after the season. There's just not going to be a mid-season firing of Belichick.
I will make that bet. I'll make that bet with you. I'll bet a land shark, loaded land shark.
All right, mail it to me. That's Josh Graham at Sedgefield. We didn't talk golf, but that's all right. Next time, Tim Donnelly in studio with me. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Appreciate your time. That was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't want to talk over me. I don't see him on camera, remember?
He's not really here. It was the disembodied voice of Josh Graham. I got a break. We'll come back. Chris Lee, WRAL TV5 from Canton, Ohio. Next.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
Shoot, he scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Chocolate Lava Cake is a mountainous eruption of flavor. Classic vanilla ice cream loaded with rich chocolate cake pieces, rivers of chocolate sundae sauce, chunks of dark chocolate, and a deep fudge swirl. Prepare yourself for an earth-shaking experience.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
Your child's doctor shares your goals, a healthy future for your child. Doctors recommend vaccines throughout childhood because they protect what matters most: your child's future from preventable disease and serious illness. Discuss any questions you have and check that your child is up to date and talk about any concerns. You're right to have questions. Get real answers. Start a conversation with your doctor today. Visit vaccinesforkids.nc.gov. Paid for by NCDHHS.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, may I ask a few questions?
Yeah, of course.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, we have a dog.
Great. Do you have a pool outside?
Nope, just a big old backyard.
Nice. Another question. Are there any unlocked guns in the home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, let's just talk about what we can bring for dessert.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're delving into a new NCHA report titled More Than Medicine, the Economic Impact of North Carolina Hospitals. My guest is Josh Dobson, President and CEO of the North Carolina Healthcare Association.
Hospitals generated about $52 billion in economic impact last year, roughly 6% of the entire state's gross domestic product. They spent around $44 billion on operations and workforce expenses, and that spending does ripple outward into local economies. Hospitals are often among the largest employers in a region, especially rural communities. In fact, they're among the top 10 employers in 95 of North Carolina's 100 counties.
You can learn more and join our latest conversations on the state of healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
This is is Adam Gold.
I told Tim, who does the afternoon show, I said, I'm about to turn this game around. We need Cheez-Its. So I went to go get magical Lucky Cheez-Its, and guess what? Boom. Period 2, tied it up. And then at the end of the game, I still had like 8 Cheez-Its in the cup left, and I said, Lucky Cheez-Its.
There you go.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. I have completed a full week. That's pretty good.
I know.
In the summer, when all the vacation time that I can't take during the hockey season, when it piles up, it's not easy to complete a full week.
Right.
I'm exhausted.
But you don't have one next week. Sad face.
Right.
Yeah.
I have no idea who's sitting in this chair on Monday and Tuesday, but I will be back on Wednesday. Last night, I set it up so we would be able to be here today to talk about the Panthers in some way, shape, or form, but we had no idea. I did say before the game yesterday that I was looking forward to watching Haynes King. I think the world of him as a potential kind of utility piece for the Panthers. I think he'll be a backup quarterback for a long time. I thought there were some strange his stat line was great, like 21 of 34. Even some of the completions, I think, against NFL, starting caliber defensive backs probably aren't going to be completions. There were some questionable throws, and he missed a wide open Jimmy Horn for a touchdown that they ended up kicking a field goal. But he's a playmaker. He's not a great quarterback, but he is a playmaker, and I love his ability as a change of pace guy. As again, Taysom Hill probably isn't the best example because I don't think he's that, but I think he can help you in a lot of ways, and I love his future as a backup in the NFL. But by and large, it was an incredibly fun game to watch. And as we bring in Chris Lee, WRAL TV 5, who is in Canton for the whole ceremony this week, was that not the best preseason game ever?
Possibly. I definitely didn't expect to have that much fun covering a preseason game. The main event for this weekend for me is Luke Kuechly's assignment, but I ended up enjoying the game a lot more. I was more so going into the game looking at, who's aligned where, who's coming out first, who's, you try to glean what the coaching staff thinks of a particular player based off of when they play. And then you come away really into the actual game itself. And Haynes King is a new star. And I feel like, honestly, he probably should be QB2. But that's just my opinion.
And I don't disagree with you. I was talking about Haynes King yesterday on the show. I mentioned how excited I was to watch him play because, the ACC Player of the Year, right? He's just a fun quarterback. And the one weakness in his game we thought going in was his throwing. Not necessarily super accurate, didn't have a great arm. He did miss one wide open receiver for a touchdown, missed Jimmy Horn, and that was the only real, I think, blemish on his night. But he threw a ton of really good passes, but I don't even think that it's not even the best part of his game. He's just a football player. And I thought he was really good.
Yeah, there's some will and some want to there out of him, which is kind of what you want from a quarterback. Like you want a guy that can also operate within the system, but also if things break down, if it's not there, they know how to improvise. And you saw all of that. And to go back to your earlier point about the throwing part, that's the part that I was the most impressed with because I haven't had a chance to watch it from the television perspective, but from in person, seeing how coverage was coming about, and he's literally fitting these passes in these tight windows to only a place where the receiver can catch it, or he's throwing it away at opportune times, and he's throwing guys open. I was just man, this guy looks really good. Him and Carson Beck, I think, had really great nights. And those are their first NFL, action and for both of them. And, they both really looked like, I wouldn't say NFL veterans, but like they had NFL experience before.
Yeah, look, I was super impressed. I was like, my anticipation for the game, because we knew Bryce Young wasn't going to play. We knew almost all of the players who will likely be on the roster really weren't going to play last night, although I think that we saw some of those, the bottom 2 wide receiver spots. We saw most of those guys in action. We'll talk about that in a second. But King was my fascination about the game, and he did not disappoint. Let's move on to the receivers. Because we saw, by the way, King threw for 180 yards. He had accounted for 3 touchdowns, 39 yards on the ground. He's a very capable runner too, as we saw. I did find funny that they never really showed you a replay of the game-winning touchdown, and I'm pretty sure he was in anyway. But you know how when they show you those the replays, oh, look at that. His hip was down and the ball wasn't quite across the goal line yet. I just think they wanted to get out of there because the outcome of the game doesn't matter. Talk to me about the receiver spot. I thought Jimmy Horn Jr. looked good. I thought John Mechie looked good. I thought Jasim Reed looked good. Those are basically, David Moore caught a couple of balls. Those are basically the 4 guys competing for 2 spots.
Yeah, and I would even add in Casey Washington there, and they just picked him up last week, like last Monday or Tuesday, and I thought he looked really good as well. Like David Moore, honestly, his in is because he's been with Dave Canales in Seattle, and so once Dave is comfortable with letting that go, I think that you'll start to see newer kind of exciting players that's there, and it's interesting what this Chris Brazzell injury kind of did to open up the possibilities for the Panthers. And, you hate it for Chris Brazzell, but then you see these other guys who are starting to flash. And, Jimmy Horn already, had kind of a tough outlook for, the 53.
Yep.
But then Brazzell goes down, and now you need that speed guy who can outrun guys. And you saw that on display yesterday. Still a little raw with his route running, but it looks like it's been getting a little bit better, and looks like he's learning how to get open as well. And then also Jasim Reed, man, that's a big guy, big receiver who can get open, and he has great catch radius. He's a little raw as well, but he's one of those guys. If you spend some time with him, he can be a guy that can really help out. It's ultimately going to come down, as you know, Adam, it's going to come down to, who can contribute the most on special teams.
Right.
You can be the better receiver, but if you can't contribute on special teams, you're not going to be on the squad. But, Canales has some tough choices ahead of him when they have to cut down to the 53.
No doubt. And I love John Mechie. I remember him at Alabama. I hope that there's some role for him on the team, on the practice squad. And I know how Bryce and him have connected and are close and all that. I'd love to see a talent like that who has really not been able to get going in his career. I'd love to see him get a shot. Let me ask you, because I thought there were some down moments. And by the way, I just want to point out that Carson Beck was probably the best quarterback on the field. Not probably,
Absolutely.
he was. And
Absolutely.
if I'm Jacoby Brissett, I got footsteps. That guy looked like an NFL quarterback from the very first snap of the ball. All right. Quarterbacks didn't look great last night. They bit on a lot of fakes.
Yeah. One of the things I said to Dennis Cox on Panthers Playbook last night was that, I came into, before this game, I came into this preseason time thinking that, okay, the Panthers got deeper at cornerback, and while, yes, they didn't necessarily get deeper at starters.
Right.
Because, what we saw last night, especially in the first half, I think things kind of, buttoned down in the second half. In the first half, we didn't see anybody that could potentially take Mike Jackson's job. And if you think about the situation the Panthers are in, they're already paying J.C. Horn. He at one point was the highest paid cornerback, but that's since changed. So that's there. They're going to potentially be paying Bryce Young. So now you're looking for younger players who can take spots. Will Lee is drafted so that just in case Mike Jackson has another great year, he's going to command a bigger contract at the end of this year because he's on the last year of his deal. Then, hey, we can get younger, we can get cheaper at that position. And it's just one preseason game, but, Dave Canales did tell us before that, Will Lee can get beaten on some deep shots because he'll bite on a double move. But they were trying to work with him to get better on that. But otherwise, they love what he can bring. And I do think that once he buttoned down on that, he was the best cornerback there. I was really disappointed in the Caleb Evans. I was really disappointed in Corey Thornton. These are two undrafted free agents that came in last year that, had some impact when the Panthers needed them. And those guys just didn't have the best outings. They still have 3 preseason games to go to try to button that up to make it a little bit better. But they're not helping their cases at all when it comes down to who's going to potentially make this roster.
Chris Lee, WRAL TV5 at Chris Lee on Twitter, and of course the Panthers playbook was there last night for you. Thank you very much, man. Enjoy. We didn't even talk about the Hall of Fame. We'll do that another time. Luke Kuechly brought Greg Olson out and a whole bunch of the players that they coach on their team in Charlotte. It was really cool to see all of that. And Kuechly, we're going to get a chance to hear him on Netflix he's got a 5-game package. He's coming for all of our jobs, Chris. That's all I got to say.
If I could say this really quick, if you're in the Raleigh area listening to this, since you're statewide and worldwide and everything, we have a special tonight on WRL at 7:30, all about Luke Kuechly, Carolina to Canton, and Pat Welter and I have done a lot of work over the last few weeks, interviewing a lot of folks. We talked to a parent whose son was coached by Luke Kuechly in middle school. That's going to be a cool one. They have so many other things that's there. So also talked to the widow of Reggie White, Sarah White. He was inducted 20 years ago. And so that's going to be a cool story. So a lot of things, 30-minute special, 7:30 tonight on WRL. Hope you guys get a chance to watch.
7:30. Now I got stuff to do tonight. 7:30.
Yes,
Chris Lee, I appreciate your time, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we got about a minute left here we haven't mentioned it today. The Protect College Sports Act got a new amendment from a senator in Florida that, remember when we had the rule in the bill that if you wanted to join a conference that you had to be independent for 5 years in order to do so? Well, the senator from Florida got that changed in the bill, where now you can come from a Power 4 league, but you have 180 days from the bill's passing, won't pass, in order to announce you're leaving your current league, and then you would be eligible to join another league. Again, this would be for those schools who think they're going to leave. This would allow you to do that. But again, this bill's not going to pass. I still have my doubts whether it will ever get a vote. But we'll see. Victoria, thank you. Have a great weekend. You too, everybody. See ya.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
When news breaks, don't wait. WRAL News Plus goes with you everywhere. Weather, traffic, and breaking news live